watching and waiting for our return.
Well, the wait is over. We're about to give people what they want and what they need, so you better get ready. Brother Dennis, where you been? I've been looking for you.
What's going on, Sister Soraya? You know I've been around.
Been around where?
Here, there, everywhere.
Guess what time it is, though?
What time is it?
It's time for the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show.
I mean, what's that?
You know exactly what that is. Quit playing. It's our new radio show, sponsored by Higher Dimension Radio, hosted by me, yours truly, Sister Soraya, and you, Brother Dennis Walton.
Well, it's about time. I mean, you know the whole world been watching and ready for our return.
Well, we can let them know that the wait is over, because we're about to give them what they need and what they want, so you better be ready.
Ready for what, Sister Soraya?
Ready for news, information, stimulating conversation, great gospel music, and a whole lot more every magnificent Monday from noon until 3 p.m.
Well, that time has finally come, so you can start your week off with Soul of the City, the world's #1 gospel radio show hosted by Sister Soraya and me, Brother Dennis Walton, sponsored by HD Radio, where you can imagine more.
Oh, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our website, hdmediagrp.com.
It's HD Radio, where you can imagine more.
It's the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show inside this blessed, grateful Monday, snowy afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Brother Dennis Walton.
Hey, good afternoon, Sister Soraya.
All right, y'all, welcome back to another edition. It is Monday, January 24th, 2022. Gospel time now, 2 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock p.m. And it is currently snowing outside. Dennis Walton.
Yeah, it's a little bit snowy out there.
Yes.
It's not bad, though. It's not bad. I'm telling you, you always have to realize that in Wisconsin and in Milwaukee, it can always be worse.
Yes, sir.
So the 2 inches that we got is still very bearable for the time of the season that we're in.
Yes.
So it's just enough to make a good snowball.
That's right. I can handle it.
I can handle it.
I can handle it. That's right. There's a winter weather advisory for parts of southeastern Wisconsin. It will be a slow, of course, midday commute today as fluffy snow continues to fall, 2 to 4 inches possible from Milwaukee southward, 1 to 3 northward, and temps only reach into 20s today and will stay bitterly much cold all the week long. All right.
That's the thing, that cold.
That cold.
I can take a little bit of snow.
Mm-hmm.
This cold weather.
Yeah.
It's been so cold. It's been staying in the house cold.
Yeah, it's been staying in the house cold. Yeah, it's been that smoke cold. You know
I wish more people would take heed to just stay in the house when it's cold.
Just stay in the house when it's cold.
People be out all time with night.
I'm just trying to tell you.
Just stay in the house.
Just stay your tail home. Like they say, if you don't have to go out,
don't go out.
Don't go out.
But people, I don't care if it be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. People still out there figuring out something to do.
Just something to get into. Go home and stay home. All right.
Jesus.
All right. So today it is currently 22 degrees, and then tomorrow it's supposed to fall into the single digits. 8 degrees. 8 degrees. Okay. All right, it is supposed to reach back up into the 30s on this coming Thursday. So
yeah, they're gonna have on their Daisy Dukes. They're gonna put on their Daisy Dukes when they turn 30 outside.
We're gonna see about that. All right, so let's get straight into the news. All right, all right. So Dennis, not sure if you heard about. I know that you don't get into the news.
I do,
not
but I do
too often. But yeah. But, well, not sure if you heard about the 6 people that were found dead on yesterday in broad daylight in a Milwaukee home, and what police are currently investigating as multiple homicides. Now they said yesterday it was 5 people that were found dead yesterday. Now this morning I pulled up the news and they said they found 6 people. Milwaukee police responded about 3:45 p.m. yesterday, and they assisted with a welfare check at the residence where 4 men and 1 woman were found dead. And as I just mentioned, they said there were 5, and this morning they found 6. And they said it had something to do with a gunfire. All right, so they're currently still investigating right now. So total victims 5 males and 1 female.
I mean, what do you say?
What do you say, Dennis? But to pray for their families.
I mean,
I'm just so disheartened.
Well, I just think that you have to look at how we talk about infrastructure. Talk about the infrastructure of the city. And when they talk about the infrastructure of the city, they're talking about the roads, the bridges, things like that, the potholes in the streets. When they talk about infrastructure. But when I talk about infrastructure of our city,
no structure.
I talk about the community
at
large.
I agree.
That that needs to be repaired.
Yes.
And unfortunately, this is another incident that happened right around the corner from our home.
Yes.
So I think the location is probably 60 seconds away from my house and your house.
Yeah.
And every day or every other day, we're seeing this trend of violence just continue to spike, right? And as you're seeing this trend of violence continue to spike, there just seems to be no solution, nowhere in sight, right? So when we talk about infrastructure, the heart and soul of a city, because in this area where we live, we are the core. We are the heart and soul of the city of Milwaukee. When you look at our community on the map of Milwaukee, we are smack dab in the center.
That's right.
And it's like, wow, how have we just been so abandoned? How have we been left to this place where it just seems like it's so hopeless, it's so desolate.
Yeah.
Lives are just being taken every second, every minute. I think you said it was 5 black men or 5 men.
And 1 female.
And 1 female.
That is correct.
One can only assume that all of those people were African American or black people just because of the location.
That's right. Yeah.
But for death and for violence to be so prevalent in our communities, and for no one to have an answer or a solution, for us to just have been left in this condition, is the question that we have to come to. Is that we have to raise awareness around those questions.
That's right.
How have we just been left to this place, to where death is just so accessible to us?
Yeah.
And violence, and we were just talking about it a little bit earlier. How do you overcome your mental health issues and challenges?
Yeah.
How do you have inspiration and motivation in a community to where your only information that's coming to you, people are bearing bad news
all the time?
You mean there's nothing good?
No.
There's nothing
all
good.
There's
the nothing
time.
Good.
Yeah.
But you'll hear about $100 million being invested, or $200 million or something being invested downtown into the Wisconsin the convention center.
Yeah.
You'll hear about new developments or high rises that are going up, and the development that's going on in communities in different areas of the community throughout Milwaukee. And when those people hear that there's $100 million development going on, or that this business is moving into their area, people are excited. They're motivated. They feel like, wow, I can see progress. When you ride down the streets in downtown Milwaukee, you see growth. You see success. You see people happy. You see people jogging. You see people patronizing businesses. it gives you a motivation. It inspires you because you're like, wow, it looks good down here. I want to go to this restaurant and get something to eat. Wow, it looks good down here. Let me go to this store and go shopping.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this new sculpture or statue that they just put up over here. This new amenity, it inspires you, right?
Yes.
But when you drive through our neighborhood, and when the news is reported in our neighborhood, it's 5-6 people dead, five men and 1 woman.
One time.
It's murder, kill on every corner. There's no significant amount of money that's coming into the neighborhood that people can see success or see progress. And again, it makes you ask the question, why have we just been left to fend for ourselves? And why are we allowing our community to deteriorate at the rate that it is? And there's no pushback from us. There's no uprising from us. Are we so broke down, beat down, that and with bad information, with bad news, that it's just what we expect? So now we don't expect something better. We don't expect anything to change. We just look forward to the bad news. And I was just telling you, I get so tired of people calling me and, did you hear about this person get killed? Did you hear about this person die? Did you hear about this person got killed? Did you hear about this person died? Never no good news. So I just think that we need to put more pressure on those who are in positions in our community. Bring us some good news.
Okay.
I'm tired of hearing about 5 or 6 people get killed everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And if we could do something, if we can bring a significant amount of revenue and resources into this community and show something positive, maybe it'll change the hearts and the minds of the people, because they'll feel like they're in a community that's moving forward, instead of looking at abandoned houses and illegal dumping everywhere, and poor people on every corner, a liquor store, no good food, no healthy food, ain't no bananas, no grapes, or no oranges, or no apples nowhere in this neighborhood.
Not a one. They all old.
But they got, but you can buy drug paraphernalia. You can
all day
you
long.
can buy chocolate and a grape blunt.
Yes.
You can get every kind of a malt liquor.
And all types of hot and flamings.
Every type of Dorito and hot flaming.
Yes.
I mean, I think those things have something to do.
You said a mouthful.
With
like
the growth and the inspiration and the motivation of a community.
Yeah.
That's just.
It's bad, and we have become so immune, like so used to the way that we're living. I mean, it's just outrageous.
Man, when you living off hot flaming chips
and oh my God, now we Big Deborah. I get it. I totally get it. I forgot the other chips.
Wildwood Pops.
No, and it's these other hot chips my nephews and my nieces eat. They so hot. Oh my God. I forgot the name of them. Anyways, they burn your stomach.
But the reason why I say that though is because when I have to go outside of our community to eat healthy. Yeah. To see better things. To have a better, to be in a better environment, I have to leave out of my neighborhood to go do that. So when I go shopping in the places that I go in, I see fresh, healthy, organic vegetables and fruits. I see people working and being productive and studying and, conducting themselves in a manner in which, is healthy and positive. So, and I have to motivate myself to step outside of the environment that I live in, while I'm still working to improve that environment, so that I can stay motivated to come back and try to continue to be an inspiration. Okay. So if I didn't have the ability to seek and to search for something that's motivating and inspiration, or know other places to go, I wouldn't understand that there's something better. And there are a lot of people in our community who do not have that ability, and they don't know that there's something better. So the only thing that they're seeing is destruction and disaster. But it's not. It's something in other neighborhoods in Milwaukee. You can go 10, 15, 20 minutes away in some neighborhoods, and there's nothing going on. Yeah. There's nothing going on. People's neighborhoods are quiet. They're silent. They might hear about the violence that happened maybe, a couple miles down the road, or, in the heart of the city, but they're in their neighborhoods comfortable.
Sure is.
So the reason why I say that is because it's not like that. It's not possible for a neighborhood or a community in the city of Milwaukee to not have crime or to not have poverty and not have desolation, because there are many pockets of neighborhoods that are beautiful in this city.
And Dennis, we are only in this is the 24th day of January.
Yeah.
And I believe this is the 8th homicide of the year.
Yeah. And again,
the 24th day of January.
And see, we be so traumatized by the what's happening every day that we forget that there are people that have been in place for a very long time that have failed us, that have robbed us of our resources in this community, that have lied to us about what they were going to do to improve the conditions of a community, and have totally sold us out and abandoned us, which has caused for us to be in this place that we're in right now.
We're in a rut.
Because we just keep reacting to every situation that keeps happening every day, which keeps us distracted from those who have purposely neglected us, purposely defrauded us, and who have intentionally failed us and set us up for failure. And I think you got to constantly stay connected to the history of the problems, where they started, then understand where we're at in the present so we can move forward with properly solving and addressing the issues. Because some of the very same people that have contributed to the neglect and the fraud of this city are the people we keep recycling into positions.
Wow.
And they keep emerging, and so they haven't failed us.
Yeah.
And because there's no real level of accountability in our community, we keep allowing the same situations.
You said the key word. You said the key word, the real level. You said the key word.
There's no accountability.
For sure.
So, I mean, that's, that's a horrific situation that just happened.
Yeah, it was. So,
and I'm going to just say this. It does not have to be like this.
Yeah.
In our community, we do not have to die and, go through all of this negativity. There is the possibility of us changing and us living prosperously. But it's going to happen from within. People are going to have to start rebelling and revolting against all of this bad information and these negative things, because that power of the people is the only power that we can depend on to change our circumstances. I agree. And I'll leave that at that.
We'll see what happens. Well, it's currently under investigation, and again, we're definitely praying and hoping that they get to the bottom of this situation. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's very bad.
5 men murdered
and one woman murdered. Yeah.
Literally 60 seconds from our home, where we live, and
broad daylight, daytime.
Think about how that traumatizes the community. Yeah. And then the news doesn't do nothing but exploit it more and more and more. So they're going to talk about this over and over and over
and over and over again.
Yeah. People in the community, that's all they're going to be talking about. Did you hear about the 5 to 6 people that got killed? Did you hear about the 6 people that got killed?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, did you see that brand new development that just went up in our neighborhood?
Yeah.
Did you see those new houses that just went up in our neighborhood?
Yeah. 6 people is going to be ringing in your minds. Like, like okay.
Our elected officials just came up with a new initiative to make sure that people's rents are going up and they're not going to be getting thrown out of their homes in the next couple of months.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a new home ownership program that is allowing for people who are below income to move into these houses.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that new, wonderful, healthy restaurant that just got built on the corner right there, 27th and Lighters.
Or what about Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show is now on at 12 o'clock p.m. Yeah, right. I get it.
My point is that
change the way I think.
We gotta change the narrative,
right?
And quit letting them program our mind.
I gotta give a shout out to my nephew who's on Zora Stars. Thank you so much for tuning in, nephew. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So, in other news, on a brighter note, Dennis, on last week, Milwaukee's Old World 3rd Street was officially changed to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive on MLK Day. It's a change for decades in the making. A change from the 1980s when the proposal created controversy and led to 3rd Street having 2 names. All right. Until Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive used to stop at McKinley, not extending downtown. Now MLK stretches all the way down here to the heart of the city, right on Wisconsin Avenue. The arc of the Moore universe is long, and in February, the Milwaukee Common Council voted unanimously to change Old World Third to MLK. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, that happened on last week.
So
Old World Third Street is now Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive.
So, you want to know how I feel about that?
How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna tell you.
Tell the world. How do you briefly? Somebody say briefly, Brother Dennis.
I'm gonna try.
Look, wait. Briefly but calmly.
I'm gonna try to be brief.
Okay, in 2 minutes, please.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can do
Okay, no, a minute and a half.
I'm gonna see if I can do that. All right,
Go ahead. Okay, wait a minute. I need some water for this.
Yeah. Okay.
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 Okay. It's good that they did that.
Okay.
All right. They've extended Martin Luther King to downtown. Let's just acknowledge that for being something positive.
Yes.
But what I don't like is that they continue to give us these fictitious victories.
Okay.
In the midst of people dying, in the midst of children dying, in the midst of our community being abused, in the midst of the lack of resources and the economic deprivation that exists in our community, the lack of inspiration and motivation that's happening in our community.
Didn't I say calmly?
I'm being calm.
Go ahead.
Okay. We continue to get these fictitious victories. Oh, wow. They just extended Dr. Martin Luther King Street to downtown, but we're still not achieving the goals that Dr. Martin Luther King set out for the Black community to achieve a level of freedom and economic stability and self-sustainability that we deserve for being the architects and the builders of this country. For our ancestors, the fight that they fought and the blood that was shed for us to get to the place where we're at, we're still at the bottom of the barrel in every negative statistic that exists in the United States.
Okay.
So when we're still looking at high levels of mass incarcerations, when we're still looking at high levels of poverty, when we have people still being murdered at the rate that they're being murdered right around the corner from our homes, when we see people still being they're committed to poverty, are still stuck in the system. People are still dependent upon EBT and welfare and having to work 4 or 5 jobs. Our children are failing at a rate that's out of control. How much can we really be inspired by a street being expanded in the name of Dr. Martin Luther King?
Okay.
But we still have not even been able to achieve what he stood for and what he died for and what he was murdered for in 2022. We're still at the bottom in every statistic that exists in the United States.
Okay. So there's a positive and a negative feeling. Got you.
I'm tired of all that mess. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
We just extended to Dr. Martin Luther King Street, but 6 Black people just got killed right up the street.
Got you. The end. That was perfectly said, Dennis.
I will leave it alone. So I'm sorry. I just have to say that I'm tired of all that.
This Dr. King's great nephew over here, y'all. Okay.
Look, we got the first Black president.
Got you.
And look at the condition of the community after the first Black president.
Yeah.
It didn't do nothing for us.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
This, we got the first Black that.
Okay.
The first Black this, the first Black that. But at the same time, our community is being sold out and destroyed at all costs. And no one's coming into our community with a level of investment or concern or care or innovation that preserves our lives. We deserve better than a street being extended.
We do deserve better, and we need to do better.
Yeah, so that's just what I have to say about it.
And Dennis, and speaking of that, Dennis, when will you be running again for office? Because you definitely have a lot to say and you have a lot to do.
That's a great question.
So when will you be running for office again?
That is something that's still yet to be decided.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is. I am.
Because you have a great heart for the city, and you've done a lot,
Mhm,
and you've put in a lot.
mhm.
So when will you be running for office again?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know, right now, you know, the first time that I ran for office
Mhm.
was a learning experience.
Mhm.
I learned a lot.
Okay.
As of right now, uh, it's just so many personal things that I'm working on to
Okay.
improve myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, one of the things that I'm really focused on is, you know, I have to strengthen my family.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes your priorities can be out of order when you are immersed in the issues that affect a community,
I understand.
and you can neglect your own personal self for the hurt and pains that you see others going through. So I've done that.
Yeah.
I've been a part of that neglect of myself. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of healing
Yeah.
and repairing myself right now,
Okay.
and also working on improving myself financially, because I don't want to have to go out here and beg and borrow to get into office and all that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I said, that when I return
Mm-hmm.
to run for office, I will be, you know, I will be wealthy.
Yeah.
You know, because I've committed myself to economic empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
which, when we talk about it, Dr. King, that was the end result for us, is to have a level of equity economically. And so many times we're working from a deficit
Mm-hmm.
to try to get ourselves into the place that we want to be, and we don't understand, or we haven't achieved the overflow. And I need to be working from an overflow. I can't keep working from a place of less and not having enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been just reprioritizing, refocusing, changing my mindset.
Yeah, and timing is everything.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
timing is
also
everything.
people, I think, you know, a lot of times people don't understand that, for me personally, is that I'm a father.
Yeah. Right.
I'm a full-time father
Your father first. Yeah.
with 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are in college.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of them I'm fighting for in court right now. I go to court for him next week, actually.
Okay.
I'm dealing with guardian ad litems, and, you know, just someone who's just really, it's just a challenge that I'm overcoming personally,
Okay.
as a father, because, you know, his mom is doing everything she can to just prevent me from being in the life of my son, which I have, you know, I speak openly about this because there's so many men who are going through this, who want to be in their children's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have these women who are bitter because your relationship didn't work out with them. And, you know, they use the child as a way to try to, you know, to get back at you.
Yeah.
So I'm going through some of those, you know, it's just a lot of cleanup things that I need to make sure that I do when I do run for office, because I want to emerge with my family intact, with my finances intact,
Right.
with my spirit strong. You know, I want my mind to be in a whole new place, so that I'm really prepared for the challenge. And I think too many times, you know, people step out into that arena and they got so much mess and so much junk, and they're wearing such a fraudulent face.
Mm-hmm.
And they may even make it through and get into office, but they're still carrying that baggage. And when they get there, they're not able to follow through
That's right.
on really moving or helping move a community forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going through the healing and the repair right now necessary, so that if God sees fit, I can emerge and run for office again in the near future.
Definitely.
And win. But
Okay.
really be able to be committed to what it takes
Okay.
to bring forth change and be committed to serving my people.
Okay. Definitely.
So to answer your question,
Okay.
God is still working on me.
Definitely. Well, you know, we're definitely rooting for you, because with that support, you know, with having that support, and I mean, even with, you know, with you running before and having to see you being in the heat of the battle, and
Yeah.
I mean, and you pulling me in, like, what is this? I never been in. Oh no.
And again,
Politics, oh no, that's something I don't never want to be in. Like, I didn't know the beginning to the end of what I was doing.
It's rough.
It was.
It's rough.
Yes.
You know, and like I said, the
So,
first time was
kudos to you.
The first time was a learning experience.
Yes.
But you know, again, if God sees fit for
Mhm.
me to run again
Yeah.
in the near future,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna, you know, once I win,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no, you know, losing is not an option next time.
Right.
Once I win, I'm gonna work so hard.
But you know what? But it wasn't the point that you lost. It was that you learned from it.
Well, no, I'm
that
just
was,
saying. Once
yeah.
the victory was in the experience. A lot of
Right.
people didn't know. I was really just wanting to get the experience.
Definitely.
That's why I jumped into the race.
Yes.
But this next time, I'm gonna be committed
For
to
sure.
crossing the finish line. And once I get there,
yeah,
you know, I'm gonna work really hard.
Definitely.
I'm gonna work really hard to show that you can make a difference.
For
You don't
sure.
have to be victim to all of the negative things that are happening, and you don't have to be bound to excuses. You can be creative.
Yes.
And you can bring forth solutions. So it is something that I'm looking forward to, but as of now, I want to make sure that my entire self is intact, so that when I do make it to that place, I'll be the best for my people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Great question. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. All right, 30 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock p.m. All right, y'all, keep in mind, don't forget, download that app on today. It is a free app. If you are on your phones right now, you can go to your mobile device, if you're on your phones right now, and you can type in HD Radio Online on your Play Store. All right, HD Radio Online is one word, HD Radio Online right now. If you are at work, you can go to your website, and you can go to our website and type in hdmediagrp.com, hdmediagrp.com, and wherever you see on the website, listen live, click on listen live, and you can hear us right now live. Hear me talking, hear Dennis talking right now, and you can listen to the very best in good gospel music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to the very best in good gospel music. 31 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock p.m. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can email us at hdradio21@gmail.com. That's hdradio21@gmail.com. All right, Dennis, you have any news over there?
Yeah.
What you got over there?
I gotta be the bearer of bad news.
See? What you got?
I gotta be the bearer of bad news.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. What is it?
I'm being all dramatic.
What is it? Tell me. What is it?
Packers
lost. Wait, did you bet?
I bet.
What you bet? Because you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money.
Really ain't got the now after this bet.
What did you bet? $500? What'd you bet? 1,000?
I ain't gonna even I ain't gonna put myself out there like that.
What'd you bet?
Just I lost. Let's just put it like that. That's all you need to know. I don't need to tell all my business, but I'm telling
OMG.
Oh my God, I'm in the hole with this one. I know I shouldn't be betting no way. God said don't be gambling no way.
You should have learned from the first experience betting your phone bill money at Potawatomi.
God said don't be gambling
You know better. I told you the first time.
Yeah, that's why I don't gamble.
Why did you bet, Dennis?
I just thought my Packers was not going to fail me. Dang.
Jesus never fails. Man will fail you.
Put your trust in man.
There you go.
God,
man will fail you every time.
Man.
That's what you get.
God.
You could have gave the church that money, dog.
It would have been a better investment. No, I got children. I got kids in college. I got to keep PayPal at $20 and $30 too. I was trying to get some of that PayPal money. So I could cash out. I'm talking about, cash out. I got to cash out $30, $40 every other day.
Wait a minute. And cash out take about $2 every time you cash out them some money.
I buy a new iPhone for my daughter.
How much?
She need a computer.
You're not gonna tell me how much you betted? Oh my God.
I was trying to get this computer money for my daughter.
Oh.
And I just thought that the Packers was gonna help me.
Oh.
And it
to the well. Oh. To the well.
Anybody want to contribute to my GoFundMe?
No.
Because my daughter needs this new computer.
Absolutely not. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel a bit sorry for you, Doc.
You can cash at me at
sorry, Doc.
www.denniswalton.com. I'm in bad shape, y'all.
You in bad shape, and you should be. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! I was watching that game, man. It was horrible, man.
They didn't win. I mean, they didn't lose too bad, did they?
Losing is losing.
I mean, well, they weren't far behind, were they?
Losing is losing.
I'm just trying to.
But it was interesting because all of the games this weekend, there was like an upset that occurred, right?
Yeah.
So the Packers lost to the 49ers.
Right.
The score was 10 to 13.
Okay.
And they lost at the very last moment.
Okay.
Totally sucks. 10
Uh-huh.
to 13. Packers lost by 3 points.
Yeah.
Then who else was it? Los Angeles, they beat the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Okay.
So the Packers and the Tampa Bay Bucks were the favorites to face off in the NFC.
Okay.
In the NFC division.
Right.
So they both got upset. 49ers beat the Packers.
Yep.
And Los Angeles Rams beat the Tampa Bay Bucks, right? So then you had the Cincinnati Bengals. They won. I forgot who they won against. If you can pull that up, but I forgot who they won against. But then you had the Chiefs last night, who beat the Buffalo Bills, and that was an outstanding game. But all of the
they beat. It was 42-36.
Was that what? Who was that?
In overtime.
Yeah, that
the
was
Chiefs
Buffalo.
defeat. The Bills.
That game was like super.
Okay.
All of the games were really good. They went all the way down to the wire. I think the Packer game was probably the most disappointing because it was a very low-scoring game.
Yeah.
Everybody's heart was just broke at the end. The dude kicked that field goal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've never seen a season like this.
Oh.
And for those of you who are football fans.
Was it that bad? Was it that bad?
Well, I'm just saying you've never seen a season like this where all of the margins of defeat were just so, were under 3 points or 7 points.
Okay.
All the games were just like so close, which says how good the talent was.
Okay.
Everybody was playing at a really, really high level.
Okay.
But again, my Packers.
Your Packers. So you had to pack up your stuff and go home with no money.
Oh my God.
That's what that was.
Now, Brother Ed, that's my man, Brother Ed.
Right.
I know I owe you. I know I owe you.
All right, Mr. Ed, your money coming.
I know he's listening. Mr. Willie, I know I owe you too. I know I owe you.
Oh, these some old guys, yo.
No, we hang out with Mr. Willie. Don't send them looking for me.
These some old guys that don't forget.
Yeah, don't come looking for me. Old guys, they don't play about their money.
They ain't gonna forget about their money, Doc.
I'm putting it out there publicly. Mr. Ed.
Don't play.
And Mr. Willie.
Don't play.
Don't send them looking for me. I'm gonna get to it.
They're gonna take you for that long ride.
Don't come find me. I'm gonna be there with you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I text you on Saturday and I was like, sorry, the Packers lost. Wonder why you didn't text me back.
Yeah, I didn't even see no text.
Using depressed mode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, this will hurt.
Wow.
Man, God said don't be gambling. No, I can't gamble. No, I can't afford to lose nothing.
If you're not good at it, don't do it.
Well, so yeah.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. So I think the most significant thing about the end to the Packers season this year in this playoffs is that I personally feel like Aaron Rodgers will not be coming back.
Okay, but they made it this far, though. I mean,
it don't matter.
Oh, it don't matter.
This is about winning.
Oh, wow.
It's about going all the way, and then see, we've been so many years removed from a Super Bowl.
Okay.
That it was like,
well, I don't know. I don't know about football, but
yeah, I'm telling you. So, like I said, the most significant thing is I think that we just saw Aaron Rodgers play his last. Game at Lambeau Field.
So he's not going to come back.
I don't think he's coming back. Okay. I don't think he would want to after, that loss.
Okay.
Which was an absolute. It was just a flop. They just laid an egg. It was just a bad game. The score was 10-13.
Okay.
Now, we've had one of the highest power offenses all season long.
Yeah.
And we lose by 3 points, and we only scored 10 points in 4 quarters. That's very significant.
Okay.
So it was a bad loss.
Wow.
And I just don't think that he has I don't think he'll come back. I don't think he wants to come back to face that narrative
Wow.
of him losing. I think the better thing for him in his mind will be to just, move on.
Wow.
And start a new chapter in his career.
I mean, is it that bad? I mean, is it that shameful? I mean, come on now. I mean, I don't know the sports world. I mean, world that.
It's that bad. Yes. So, okay. So,
well, on a brighter note, the Bucks beat the Bulls. I mean, besides Grayson getting ejected, Grayson Allen getting ejected.
Do you see what he did?
Yeah, he broke. He messed up the guy's wrist. I forgot his name.
He played for the Lakers.
I forgot his name too, but he messed up his wrist.
Yeah,
Alex
Caruso's
wrist.
Yeah, I mean, it was a super hard foul.
Yeah, he resulted in a broken right wrist.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the play.
Yeah,
some plays are dirty plays. Okay. Some plays are just, the circumstances happen like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little excessive. It was it was a very, very hard foul.
Okay.
And honestly, I hate to see players get injured. Me being a former athlete, playing basketball, playing football, playing every sport.
Okay.
I was fortunate throughout the times that I've been out, that I played sports, that I never had a real injury.
Okay. Yeah.
I never had a broken bone or anything like that, which I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
Because many people do not, just even if you're just playing regular stuff, just amateur stuff, a lot of times you end up getting injured. But I hate to see athletes get injured. It's the worst, And to see him take that hard fall to get knocked out of the air like that and to fall on the ground and to break his wrist, and plus he is balling.
Wow.
Caruso is balling. He playing. I mean, he's
doing. So he came down real hard.
Yeah,
wow.
It was bad. But he caught him in the air.
Yeah.
And knocked him out of the air, and he fell on his wrist. So
God.
I don't think it was just so much of an intentional dirty play.
Okay.
I think it was a hard foul, and it was a little excessive. But it's just unfortunate that brother broke his arm.
Okay.
Like that because, he was playing some really good basketball.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm glad the Bucks won.
Yeah.
But I don't care what team you are. I hate to see
absolutely
players get injured. I hate to see them get hurt.
Agreed.
They got to be out of the game because there'd be some bad injuries. Like sports are, people don't realize how dangerous. Sports
it's rough. Yeah, for sure.
It can be very dangerous.
42 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock p.m. We'll be right back right after this. Keep it here.
It's HD Graphic Design and Print, where they provide innovative and quality designs. They provide custom business cards, flyers, obituaries, event tickets, t-shirts, banners, and more. They are the one-stop shop for all your graphic designs and printing needs. Call today at 414-699-7729. That's 414-699-7729. Or visit them on the web at hdmediagrp.com. HD Graphic and Print. Let them make your next event a memorable one. It's
And we are back with the Soul City Gospel Radio Show, 44 minutes after the hour, 12 o'clock p.m. If you are just tuning in, thank you all so much. Keep in mind, go to your mobile device and go to your Play Store and type in that app. HD Radio Online. Go there now. It's free. It is free, y'all. You can listen to us all the day long to the very best and good gospel music 24/7. All right. Also, you can go to our website at HD Media GRP, HD Media GRP. Also, Dennis, I keep forgetting, we also specialize in graphic design and print. How can I forget?
Graphic design.
Graphic design and print. We do everything from business cards to websites, everything in between that, okay?
Business design.
Business cards,
Business card.
everything in between. Business cards and websites, everything you can think of in between.
I think you need to kind of identify.
Okay, so business cards, let's see. Business cards, obituaries, flyers, keychains, pins, let's see, t-shirts, postcards, let's see,
You did say websites, right?
bookmarks, websites, yes.
Did you say logo design?
Logos.
You said you do it all.
I said that at the beginning.
I just think you gotta be visual.
Do it all.
You gotta make it. You gotta
So
create a vision.
yes, you can go to our website. You can check it all out there. Okay, hdmediagrp.com, and then you can see it all there. If you go under, you can go to Meet the Team. You can go under HD Radio and then HD Graphics. You can see the prices there. You can see my stuff and see. You can see Dennis Walton there. You can see the prices, as I mentioned. You can see it all there, right? And then you can go to Listen Live. Click on Listen Live, and you can hear the very best and good gospel music, and also to the Solar City Gospel Radio Show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In other news, again, there still is a winter weather advisory for parts of southeastern Wisconsin. There is, again, fluffy snow as it continues to fall out there. I just looked out there, Dennis, and it's still snowing out there. So please be cautious and be careful as you drive throughout the day out there. All right. Please be cautious. Be careful. Do not speed. Ain't no time to be speeding out there. Please slow down. It will be there when you get there. It will be there when you get there. Do not speed.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Please. Can't stress that enough.
Remember that PSA you used to do?
Man, I do remember the PSA.
What was it?
Slow down.
No.
Yes, it was.
Look at your speedometer.
Look at your speedometer.
If
If you're
you're
going too fast,
if you're going too fast, there you go.
just slow down.
Just slow down. That's all you got to do.
If you're listening, let's say if you can hear my voice.
There you go. That's
If you
it.
can hear my voice.
Yes.
Take a look at your speedometer if you're driving.
Yeah.
And if you're going too fast, just slow down. Very simple.
It'll be there when you get there.
And you may save your life and someone else's.
And someone
You
else.
may prevent a little kid or a little child from dying. You may prevent someone's grandmother or someone's auntie or someone's uncle from dying. You may even save your own life. So one more time, if you can hear the sound of my voice and you're driving, take a look at your speedometer and slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple.
Yeah,
Just slow down.
absolutely.
Mhm.
There's a story here, Dennis, regarding driving. And
Where's that story coming from?
it's talking about neighborhood news.
Okay, I haven't. You know what?
Yeah,
do something
neighborhood
about that.
news.
We're gonna have to get neighborhood news. back up
Neighborhood
there.
news. Yes, it's talking about driver's ed
Mhm.
and how they're trying to they're talking about how it could reduce reckless driving.
I believe that.
I'm trying to believe that.
I believe that.
I want to believe that. I really want to believe that.
You know why I say I believe that?
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna let you talk about the story.
Okay, so it says that I guess they did a story on Miss Monique Meese. I guess she's worried about the reckless driving in Milwaukee, and
Mhm.
she's feeling hopeful about how the next generation of drivers, and and her daughter, who's 17 years old,
Mhm.
Alana, I guess she is trying to drive, and she's a part of the Milwaukee Recreation Drivers Education Program.
Mhm.
And she is learning how to drive, and she goes to Rufus King High School, and she is one of more than 7,600 students to participate in driver's ed program. And I guess her mother, Monique, is concerned about the reckless driving in Milwaukee. And so they did an interview with her, and she's just nervous.
Okay.
She's particularly nervous about how her daughter is being a part of this program because of the reckless driving here in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I say that is because I think we take for granted how many programs were in place for us when we were coming up.
Yeah.
In elementary school, in middle school, in high school. I never, like, for example, one of the things that we deal with in our community right now amongst young people is obesity, right? You know, that's a big issue. Juvenile diabetes, young people having diabetes, high blood pressure, all of this stuff, right? Young children being vastly out of shape and not healthy. Never in a million years would I thought that you wouldn't have physical education or a gym class in certain schools. You know, you go to schools now. You go to the elementary schools. You go to these middle schools. You go to the high schools. Gym is not prioritized, right? In a lot of these schools. When I was in school, gym was my favorite class. One of my favorite classes. We got a chance to play basketball. We got a chance we did archery. We played baseball. We played football. We wrestled. We ran track. We hop, skipped, and jumped. We jumped rope. We climbed up ropes. You know, we were pushed to the limit.
Yep, we did it
as
all.
far as physical education. You know, that 1 hour or a half hour, whatever time we had, I think gym was like an hour.
Yeah.
Man, we would just run all of our excess energy off and work it off through some type of sport or some type of healthy exercises that we had to do in gym class.
Absolutely.
And it really just contributed to our overall health and the way that we looked at school. Now
you excited about going?
Yeah. Now, you know, we had swim class, all of that stuff, right?
Home ec, all of that.
Just all of the programs. We had shop, we had swim class.
Absolutely.
We had all of the things that you really needed. You know, we were able to experience those things.
That's right.
Through elementary school, middle school,
high school.
We were able to experience all of those things, and driver's ed was one of those things that was like really, really big in high school.
Did you take driver's ed? I didn't take driver's ed.
But do you remember how big it was?
It was.
Everybody wanted to be in driver's ed.
Yeah.
It was like that was the thing. Like, like if you could get in driver's ed in high school, you had it going on.
I don't recall. Okay. Yeah.
So how did you get your driver's license?
My father took me driving.
Oh yeah. How old were you when you got your driver's license?
I think I was like 16.
16. Okay.
Yeah. So, I didn't take a driver's ed course.
Okay. See, I took driver's ed in high school, right? As a matter of fact, I want to say I took driver's ed maybe in summer school.
Okay. Was it because you didn't pass in during the?
No. I mean,
because you used to.
No, I went to summer school every year.
Oh, every year. Okay, I got you.
Because it was just like, we ain't had nothing else to do. You might as well go to summer school.
Oh, okay. I
and also, because I went to summer school every year, I always got extra credit.
Oh, okay, got you.
I always liked school. It was a couple
summers
I had to go.
Okay, I got you.
Some stuff. But anytime I needed to make up some stuff, I always went to summer school.
Okay. All right now.
But
that's good. All right.
I think I was at North Division when I took my driver's ed class in summer school.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and you know, I went and took the class and learned. You know, I had to read the book and take the written test and then take the the road test and all of that. And just go through that whole anxiety of you know, not failing my test the
Yeah.
first time, because everybody was failing their test
Mhm.
the first time. Did you pass the first time or did you fail?
Don't put me on blast like that. Don't put me on blast like
Because
that.
everybody was failing their first test, right? You 3 times? Oh man.
Why you have to say the number?
3 times. See, that's because you didn't go to driver's ed.
Well, I'm glad you know how to count. Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I did. I
So-
did.
So
yeah.
I passed my driver's ed test on the first
Okay.
go around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can remember going through the class. I was just so excited to get in. Like, yeah, I was 16. I'm 15, going on 16.
Right.
And because I turned 16 in the summer, my birthday is in the summer.
Right.
So I'm going through. I'm like, I'm gonna be 16 in July. I'm gonna have my license right on time for my birthday.
Okay.
And the excitement and the motivation to go to driver's ed.
Yeah.
And then to get there and go through the class and learn. And at the time you take for granted how much we were actually learning in those classes.
Yeah, that's right.
But I actually learned how to drive.
Okay.
Right? I learned just all of the different laws around driving. I understand what the lines on the street mean when you drive.
That's right.
Parallel
Parallel
parking.
Yeah.
Wide turns. All of the signs. What they mean and how to obey the signs, traffic signs. Just you learn so much stuff.
That's right. That's right.
And again, we take for granted those things when we're young. But as an adult driver, I know how to drive. I know how to stay a certain amount of distance away from people, a car length or two.
Not doing no rolling stops.
No rolling stops.
Right.
Checking my rear view, my blind spots.
That's right.
These are all things that I learned in driver's ed. Check your blind spots before you cross over into a lane.
That's right.
Make sure that you're looking in all of your mirrors and you're watching what's coming behind you, but keep your head going on what's in front of you. If you hit a slippery spot, don't just put your brakes on, let up off of your brakes so that your car won't go into a spin.
There you go.
Just all of these different things that we learn in driver's ed that built us up to be better drivers today.
There you go.
Now you look at the fact that we've been probably close to 20 years removed from driver's ed being in high schools.
Totally different.
And and now, again, most of us had our driver's license at 16.
Absolutely.
Right now, most of the 16-year-olds today do not have driver's license. Their opportunity to get their license is so tainted because they've been driving without a license for so long that they've already accumulated tickets. They've already been in car accidents.
So where they cannot get their driver's license now.
They've already just abused their driving privileges.
That's right.
Where they have poor driving records and they have a cost associated with penalties and tickets to where they cannot get their license right now.
The most recent data from Milwaukee County from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation showed that teen drivers were involved in 3,278 crashes, resulting in 13 deaths and 1,379 injuries in 2021. Speed was identified as a factor in 551 of those crashes and in 10 deaths. In total, there were 86 road fatalities in Milwaukee County in 2021, with speed being a factor in 36 deaths.
Wow.
There you go.
So that point right there.
Right there.
That point right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have all of these young people now who have not had the experience or the opportunity to go through something as critical. This is like a basic need and a critical need in our community that young people are able to develop certain life skills in order to be successful, and driving is one of them. So I would hope that the data and the statistics that are showing the result of young people not having access to learning how to properly drive would allow for them to reinvest in that component in our high schools.
Right.
And allow for these young people to get their driver's license or to learn how to drive, early on, so that we could possibly reduce the risk of all of these issues, because what do young people want to do? They want to drive.
They want to drive.
When
Yeah,
you're 12, 13, 14 years old, you want to drive.
that's right.
Because that's what I wanted to do.
They want to drive, but you want to drive responsibly.
Yeah, but again, when you're young, you're not thinking about driving responsibly. You're thinking about driving.
Yeah.
But if the opportunities are in place for you to drive responsibly, then you're gonna be directed, and you're gonna be, pushed into that direction to be responsible. Okay, I can go over here and get my license. If you're 14, 15 years old and you have the opportunity to go get your license, you're gonna jump on that. Because I jumped on it. All of my friends jumped on it.
Yeah.
Think about it. We all had driver's license at 16 years old.
Yeah.
Right now, it's unheard of. I don't know one 16-year-old with a driver's license right now.
Sad to say. So the classes for MPS students, speaking of that, the classes for MPS students cost $35, which covers the cost of the permit itself, while classroom lessons and behind the wheel instructions are free. Non-MPS students can also take classes through Milwaukee Recreation for $150, and driver education courses offered at private businesses can cost up to $300.
Just the fact that it's still there, though.
Yeah, it's still available. Yeah.
If there's a $35 cost, because I think mine was free.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, because I was on the free lunch program. So, if you have free lunch, you have access.
I'm trying to think. Is that why? Yeah, I think. Okay.
What? Is that why? What?
Never mind.
Yeah. Anyway, I was in the free lunch program.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
For a little while, they kicked me out of free lunch for a little while. I mean, I was in free lunch for a little while.
Oh, okay.
I was able to get my driver's license for free, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to pay for the permit or something.
Right. Okay.
But I don't think it was any cost. But I think if $35,
that's not bad at all.
It's not bad. Even $150 through rec is not bad, because all these kids' shoes cost $150.
That's for non-MPS students, so that's still
still good. But again, though, we need to highlight and prioritize those services.
Definitely, yeah.
It's critical.
Yeah, or else these stats are going to go up, and they're going to increase day by day.
I just think that young people just take for granted how cool school really is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, I don't know. I'm not in school today. But school for us was. Did you like school?
I love school.
You love lunch.
Why would you say that?
Because it's the truth.
Knowing
you love mock chicken legs.
That this show is going. You done laughing?
Your favorite day was mock chicken legs.
You know I'm gonna edit this out, right? I'm gonna edit this out. I'm gonna edit this out.
You ain't fooling nobody. With the gravy, you liked it. That was your favorite day, mock chicken legs.
For the record, I skip lunch most days.
Yeah, right. You ain't. First of all, you ain't skipping, and you definitely ain't skipping lunch. You was not fooling nobody. Anyway.
I did used to skip.
You're right.
I did. I used to be in print shop. I used to go to print shop.
Not at lunchtime. Not at lunchtime.
At Custard.
You ain't gonna look. You ain't gonna tell me that lie. That's a tale. You tell me. Okay, anyway. I don't let that lie.
You know what? You ignorant. I used to.
So
I'm
you
serious.
skip my chicken leg day.
I used to go to
No.
I'm not dealing with you today.
No, I used to be at every lunch though. I was in all 3 lunches. I used to skip and go to lunch.
I'm dealing with you.
I did.
You used to skip, all right. Yeah. That's why you have to go to summer school every year. Yeah, that's right. I know. Yeah.
But no, what I'm saying though, what did you like about school?
I love going to school. First of all, I used to love my teachers. I loved home ec. I loved math. I loved math because it was so challenging. And I loved English. I just loved all of my classes. I love learning. I just love to learn.
What was the highest level of math you did?
I did I did and it's funny, but it's not funny because I lost my brother. My brother was murdered my last year of high school.
Rest in peace
So,
to your brother.
yes.
He was an icon. In our
Yes.
community.
So algebra.
Rockefeller.
Yes, algebra was the highest math.
Mhm.
It's like, oh my God, I feel so. I'm like, oh my God, algebra.
Yeah.
That was the highest level I got.
Okay.
Because
were you good at algebra?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
So I had to go into college learning. I had to do like pre-algebra,
Okay.
pre-algebra. I had to go into college because they passed me on default or whatever. So yeah,
they just pushed you.
They pushed me through because I'm like, oh my God, I lost my brother or whatever.
Okay.
So that was the highest level of math
Yeah.
from high school to college. So, but I love math.
Yeah, but you love school overall.
I love school overall.
And
I
see,
mean,
that's
oh my
even though,
God,
like when I was in school,
I love
I was,
school.
I was the prankster. I was the class clown.
You was the prankster?
The prankster, like always.
You used to prank people?
Oh my God.
Prank people, Dennis.
Man, I did everything. And you ask anybody about me in high
Give
school,
me an example. How
man,
would you prank somebody?
Man, we used to do everything.
Oh.
Anything we could think of. We used to. I mean, we did all the stupid white boy stuff.
Oh my God.
We would be mooning people.
Oh my God.
So I'm talking about just anything you could think of. We did it.
Oh.
We were just total pranksters.
Oh my
and
Lord.
Anybody who know me, they know me for jokes.
Oh my
for
Lord.
Jokes and having fun and pulling pranks on people.
Oh.
All day long.
OMG.
That's why I heard, you play too much.
Oh my Lord.
You play too much. I can't stand you. You play too much.
Really?
Like that's how I was in high school. Just always anything for a good laugh. And even though I wasn't like a 4-point student or anything.
Okay.
Like my grades were not the best. I did enough to to graduate and to stay afloat.
Okay.
So I was in that 2-point. There's plenty of times I had 1.8s and 9s.
Yeah.
And then I had to get it up to a 2 points.
Right.
A few times I had 3-point.
Okay.
But I wasn't just like the most academic.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I was more into. Unfortunately, I was more, even though I love school and I could do the work, I was more into the social aspect of school.
Okay.
And I think a lot of us as young people were caught up into what school was doing for us socially.
Yeah.
All your friends and all the things going on, girlfriends.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
See, but that's the thing.
But I was involved in everything.
Okay.
So I went to English class. I went to math class. I struggled through some of those things, but I made it through. Did my extra assignments, cheated on a bunch of tests and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I always kept a girlfriend who was smarter than me, so I could cheat off her paperwork. It's just,
you was a sad case. I tell you, you sad.
But every bit of it I loved. I never was the person that was. I never was a person who was like skipping school or missing school. I was in school every single day having a good time.
Okay.
And that's fortunate because some people don't have a good elementary, middle, and high school experience. Some people, school was the most miserable place for them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the right clothes.
Yeah.
They weren't in the in crowd.
Right,
they
right.
just didn't know how to socialize. They weren't cool. They got picked on.
Yeah.
So it's fortunate. Like I said, I was fortunate that school was just like the best.
See, and growing up, I was scared to miss school. Like I was scared that if I missed school, I would get in trouble.
Right.
So it was like,
me too.
I grew up, of course, in a Christian home.
Yeah, me too.
Going to church all the time, going to school. Like if I missed school, I was getting in trouble.
Yeah, me too.
So
I did not want them problems.
Right, I don't want no problems. If I missed school, if I missed the bus, if I missed an assignment, I'm in trouble. So I better get about the bed, get out the door.
And you know what? But it's interesting you say that because now. The kids don't have that fear.
That's right. That's right. Right.
Yeah. That fear factor is not there.
That's right. Absolutely.
But again, school was the place for us to grow and to discover ourselves.
Right.
To find out who we were, to learn different things, and to prepare us for what's next.
Wait a minute. And then don't let the teacher call home. Wait, don't let the teacher meet moms.
Nah.
Oh, wait,
I was
don't
intercepting all of those.
don't let the teacher don't see your teacher in the grocery store
Look, I was intercepting all the phone calls. I was catching my report card in the mail.
before you got home.
Man, all of that. I was doing all of that.
Yeah,
My mama, but again, I
Those were
still
the
had
days.
that fear
right.
of not learning
Right.
and not getting my education. So
Mhm.
I was committed to school, and I just don't see
That's
a lot of young people with that same commitment. And whereas, like I'm very fortunate that I have some beautiful, beautiful children.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing their first and second year in college.
That's
right
great.
now.
I commend you, Dennis. Let me say that I commend you for raising some great children.
Yeah, they are excellent.
Yeah,
and,
that's
as much of a struggle as it had been for me to just be consistent with them.
Mm-hmm.
All the obstacles that I had to face as a father.
Yes.
My children have turned out to be some very beautiful children who are very prioritized and focused on education.
Yes.
And I was talking to my son the other day when he was home for the holidays, and he's like, "Yeah, I got to take calculus."
Whew.
And then my daughter was like, "Yeah, I got to take calculus too." We had went out to eat, and and they were just like excited about it. They weren't discouraged like me. I barely could calculate.
Calculus that sound like a cuss word. Calculus, like
calculus.
Whoa.
They had the first, second stages of calculus and all of that kind of stuff. And I was just like, man, I wouldn't even, if I look at a calculus equation, my brain I'll just get a migraine headache or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, I'm just looking at them and how they are so much more improved.
That's good.
And how they love education.
That's right.
And just to see them, like, I'm helping them with their classes and understanding how to get through their classes.
Right.
And, the politics of college and how to pick the class and just to see them going into those things.
Right.
And excited to do it.
That's right.
And taking on the challenge, it just makes me proud, because our family was always focused on education.
That's right.
Like I said, I wasn't able, even though I went to every college, I still was not as focused as my children are today.
And one thing I'm grateful for, my mother and my father, they were involved in my schooling. Like my mother and father, they used to be involved in my school activities.
Yeah, no, that's
like
critical.
my mother and my father, they would come to school with me. Like they would be a part of my school activities. Like, okay, Mom, you can go home. Dad, you can, sometimes I would be like, like I couldn't act up if I wanted to.
Let me tell you my favorite to that point.
Wait a minute. Brother Greg said, Dennis Walton went to school, but he was probably a nerd in school.
No.
That was getting his butt whipped every day, trying to be a class clown. But then he said, thanks, Dennis Walton, for telling us about your struggle with your children and encouraging us as men to keep pushing. Thanks, Greg.
No, actually, I became a ladies' man. I had all the girls.
Okay, what were you about to say? Whatever.
That's the truth.
Whatever.
I had all the girls.
Whatever.
I learned how to hang out with all the pretty girls.
We're going to take a pause for station identification.
Hey, Sister Right. Can you pass me a Kleenex over there?
I guess.
I'm telling you, I was ladies' man. Because what happened was I got a job, right?
Working where?
I got to clean my camera. I got a job, right? Working for Mr. Gendelman on the lakefront. And I got all my friends. So my freshman year, all the girls hated me. They
okay.
Like, ugh, you ugly.
Okay, they were telling the truth. Okay.
They was like, ugh, you ugly. We can't stand you, because I was so bad.
True.
I was just super bad, right? Because I'm just coming out of middle school. I went to Wilbur, right?
Greg said he had all the girls, but they were nerds too.
Nah, look. I didn't have the girls at first. I was real insecure.
Brother Greg.
My clothes was J.C. Penney clothes.
J.L. Marcus.
J.L. Marcus and J.C. Penney clothes. Man, I was a mess. I had acne. Bumps was all on my forehead.
Oh yeah, you were ugly. You put the U in ugly. OMG.
Okay. So I was going through that 14-year-old
Ooh,
acne on my
puberty.
face. Yeah, my voice was just I'm trying to make the voice deeper.
I'm Dennis Walton. How was your voice then? Hi, Dennis Walton. My name is Dennis Walton.
But when I came back that sophomore year, it was all the pop. I had my S curl.
Tell me about the Goodwood
I'm
clothes.
telling you,
And
man.
hand-me-down.
And I had found TJ Maxx. Ooh, all the clothes was a discount.
Greg said, tell them about the Goodwood clothes.
No, I ain't going to Goodwill. It was JL Marcus, and JC Penney's. Cause my mama was JC Penney me to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, man. Especially that candy. Man, wait. Man, especially the candy at the register. Man, I'm telling you about that.
Oh, man, I don't even know about no candy.
Never mind. Go ahead. Y'all didn't know about that.
That candy at the register.
Hush, Dennis.
Anyway,
Never mind. Forget it.
My freshman year, I went through all of that, getting talked about, dissed by all the girls. Clothes was J.C. Penney clothes and JL.
Okay, what happened? Don't tell a novel. What happened?
I got a job. That's something.
Okay, and what
It
happened?
was only popping
Well, what? With who?
with everybody.
Okay.
I had money, girl. And my whole
Okay.
crew had money, girl.
So?
So I was the cool kid when I came back because I had money.
And you still
I
had
clothes.
And you still had agony? Okay.
No, my acne had cleared up, and I had an S curl. It was on and popping.
And it was dripping, follow the drip.
No,
Follow the drip.
Nah.
You had Soul Glow and just let your soul glow and just let it shine through.
No, I wasn't dripping though. I wasn't
Just-
dripping though. My pillows was messed up. But the girls liked it. They liked it. Anyway, on to another subject.
Woo! Boy.
So from there on, it was on and popping. I love school.
Greg said, yeah, those were the clothes. I was wearing lots of clothes. Oh, remember Goldman's? Oh, Goldman.
I didn't make it.
What was Goldman's on the south side?
Yeah.
Goldman.
I was at JL Marcus.
What was Goldman's on, like 9th and
I
Mitchell?
know what Marcus was.
Oh, 17th
Right
and
where
North.
SDC is.
Man, I used to be ashamed to go on jail
There
Marcus,
wasn't even
though.
no reason to be ashamed. They had the best
Man,
stuff.
that was just who I was. I'm just
We
saying.
was just,
That was just who I was.
they used to have food stamps.
Man, the paper
Yeah,
stamps?
the books.
I wasn't ashamed.
Who I was.
I wasn't.
But it was on and popping.
I would fold them up 3 different times and go
You had
spend
the
it.
$5 book,
I
the
sure
$10
did.
book, the
Mhm.
$20.
I'll never forget where I come from.
Yeah, I wish I had a book of food stamps like back in the day.
Oh my God.
That'd probably be worth some money right now.
I'm trying to tell you. 16 minutes after the hour, 1 o'clock
Brother
p.m.
Ray, you got a book of food stamps?
Man, I wish somebody still had a book of stamps, though, man.
But see, them was
Those were the days,
them was the good
y'all.
old days where we could just like remember,
Those were the days.
our struggle as children, but we wasn't like burdened by it. We just
AFDC.
made it through. We just-
AFDC.
Dude, man, you so country.
AFDC.
Dude, man.
My mother was on AFDC. I'm not ashamed to tell you.
My mother was on AFDC.
I'm trying to tell you.
Did you get powdered milk
We did. Powder milk,
and that big block of cheese?
that big block of cheese, that big roll of bologna.
And then all them canned goods that you
All
don't
the
have
canned
forever.
goods, that roll of bologna where you cut it and you get that big old bubble in the middle. And then you put the cheese on the man.
Look, you put the cheese on the
I'm trying to
pan.
tell you, man. I thank God where I come
I
from.
thank God for my beloved.
I'm trying to. I ain't ashamed. That's right. Lay's make a book of stamp. Lay's make a book of stamp and get it trademarked, Dennis. Yes. He said we would make a killer. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Moving right along.
So speaking of age, Dennis, speaking of age, in other news, Republican state lawmakers are pushing a plan that will lower the minimum age to legally carry a concealed weapon in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Currently, a Wisconsin resident needs to be 21 years old before they can apply for a concealed carry permit.
Mhm.
The GOP back bill will lower it to 18. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
The measure sponsor state rep Shay Sordo says 18-year-olds have the right to vote or go to war. So they should also have the right to carry a concealed weapon.
Wow. So what do you think about that?
What do I think about
I'm
it?
gonna tell you what I think.
Oh.
What do you think? What else did it say there?
it says a lot. Oh my God. Let me see. Where should I start? She said that is our obligation as a state legislator under our oath to the Constitution of the United States and the oath to the state constitution to ensure equality before the law. While the gun rights groups, including the National Rifle Association, support the plan, opponents includes the City of Milwaukee, Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, and the Wisconsin Anti-Violence Effort, or WAVE. Which means that this age group that they're talking about will likely need to be purchasing their gun from the gray market from private sellers. It's saying a lot here, but I have.
Was it said that Wisconsin Republicans
are also considering other gun legislation during the remaining months of the state's legislative session. That includes a plan that would let people with concealed carry permits keep guns in their vehicles on school grounds.
Well,
this just opens up a whole nother can of worms.
A whole nother level of discussion.
A whole nother level of discussion, a whole nother level of violence.
I mean, again, I think
this is not good.
You don't think it's good?
No.
Well, I think they have a point. If you can, what they say, go to war at 18 years old. What else did they say? Do what at 18? What all can you do? At 18, you're legally considered an adult.
Yes, right? You are.
You can go to prison for the rest of your life.
Yep, they consider you as an adult.
As an adult.
As an adult.
At 18.
At 18. Yep.
You should be able to legally carry a firearm at 18 years old, right? And okay, so I'm a gun advocate. I am. I'm not the person who says get rid of guns. It's the Second Amendment. It's our right to bear arms. No matter what, it's in our Constitution. And that's that. You know, people have a right to defend themselves and protect themselves at all costs. You know, we're law-abiding citizens for the most part. You know, I am now more than I've ever been. You know, there's been some times in my life where I wasn't a law-abiding citizen. Okay. But as of today, I am. I'm not a convicted felon, right? And at any time that I'm threatened, I have a right to defend myself, even if that means taking the life of someone else. Now, of course, do I want to take someone else's life? No.
But you said at your defense.
In my defense.
You would.
In my defense, if it's you or me, it's going to be you. If I have to defend my home, if I have to defend my mother, if I have to defend you, if I have to defend in defense, if I have to take a life, I will. That's just the reality. Now we try to get away from reality, but you just saw 5 people, six people murdered 5 minutes away from our homes. Everywhere you look in our community, there's a level of violence that's going through the roof. Why would I sit here and allow myself to be gunless and defenseless? Why you have this level of violence in our community and no level of leadership that's bringing resolve to the issue? But they keep saying, drop the guns, but they're not creating investment opportunities. They're not doing anything to really alleviate poverty. They're also not creating a level of inspiration and motivation within people to aspire to do something different or have something different. People are down on their luck. People don't see no way out. There's this mindset of entitlement in our community. There's a conditioning of a criminal mindset that's in our community right now. And many of the good people, good Christian people, good hardworking people, good citizens and residents become victim to the failures of leadership in our community every single day. Okay. So I think that if at the age of 18, if you're able to legally carry a weapon, I think you should be able to. But I also think that there's a level of when you see this legislation come about, there should be the proper education. There should be the proper literacy. There should be the proper organizations that are focused on gun safety and firearm training in our community. And there should be more resources put into gun safety and firearm training and self-defense in our community.
Mhm.
You don't want to leave your community defenseless against crime and the crime element. We already don't have the proper police services. Police response times are poor. Police departments are burdened, and police are not preventative when it comes to crime. They come after the situation occurs. They don't prevent crime from happening. So if you're in a situation in your home where you got to defend yourself, you can't. If somebody breaking into your house, you can't call the police right at that moment and think that they're gonna get there and save you before the burglar shoots you or kills you. So I just think self-defense is really, really important.
Okay.
If you're going to push gun legislation that lowers the age limit to 18, you have to have the proper training and the proper organizations and the proper investment in organizations in our community that make sure that we're focused on gun safety and gun literacy and that we're responsible gun owners.
Very well said. Thank you so much for that, Dennis Walton.
Yes, but we can't keep running from the aspect of
Yes.
self-defense in our community. It's very important. I think all of our elders should be trained in self-defense. All of the women in our community should be trained in self-defense. All of the children should be trained in self-defense.
Okay.
Everybody should be trained properly in how to defend themselves if they're attacked or if someone comes upon them and hurts them. And when you look at in these white communities, they train their kids, they train their children from the age of 5 and 6 years old
On up.
on how to handle
Mhm.
weapons properly.
Okay.
Gun safety training. They take them hunting. They take them to gun ranges. They train them properly on how to use weapons. And where you see some issues with gun violence in those communities, you might get a child that snap out and go shoot up everybody.
Oh Lord.
For the most part, it's not as prevalent in other communities as it is in our community because you don't have the same level of instruction and literacy around gun ownership.
Okay. All right.
That's just what I think.
And I guess that's what I was afraid of in terms of allowing this to happen. But of course, that this comes with the proper education and proper training.
But it's not going to come with the proper. The problem is, Sister Soraya, is that it's not going to come with the proper education and the proper training because what we're going to do is because the Republicans proposed it, and because the Republicans are responsible for passing the legislation. Everyone who's a Democrat is going to vehemently oppose the legislation. And they're not going to look at how to sensibly address the situation. They're just going to fight and push back on, no one should have a gun. When that's not the smart thing to do when the Second Amendment says that we have a right to bear arms. So what you should do is you should invest into safety and training and gun literacy in our community because the legislation is already passed. Don't keep on bucking against something that you're not going to win against.
Right.
What you do is, okay, now that it's here, what do we do to solve the problem? We need to make sure that we have the proper gun organizations and gun training in our community so that when young people are 18 years old, they can go through class, they can go through training.
They should have a plan.
Yeah, it should be a plan. They can go through a structured organization that will provide them the proper skills on how to utilize a firearm.
Same way as driver's education. Same way.
Exact same way.
Absolutely.
But because they want to politicize everything, they're going to constantly push to get rid of the guns.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen.
Right.
And I don't even advocate for that happening.
For sure. All right. So speaking of self-defense, like you were mentioning earlier, Kyle Rittenhouse is back in the news. As we know, Kyle Rittenhouse, 18, the Antioch, Illinois teenager who traveled to Kenosha, Wisconsin during the protest of the police shooting of Jacob Blake, was acquitted of the murder of 2 people and the wounding of another in November of 2021. Now a Tennessee lawmaker is proposing a bill in honor of Rittenhouse. According to the Hill, State Representative Bruce Griffey has presented a HB 1769, also known as Kyle's Law, and will require the state to reimburse defendants found not guilty of homicide charges because of self-defense. Yes.
Say that again.
So they are trying to do present a self-defense bill in honor of Kyle Rittenhouse.
And it said, okay, read it again. Please.
Okay, I'll read it again. It says that, I'll read it verbatim. It says, Kyle Rittenhouse, 18, the Antioch, Illinois teenager who traveled to Kenosha, Wisconsin during protests of the police shooting of Jacob Blake, was acquitted of the murder of 2 people and the wounding of another in November of 2021. Now, a Tennessee lawmaker is proposing a bill in honor of Rittenhouse. According to The Hill, State Representative Bruce Griffey has presented a HB 1769, also known as Cow's Law, and would require the state to reimburse defendants found not guilty of homicide charges because of self-defense.
I'm with that.
I know you would be.
I'm all for that.
Yes.
Is it a Republican legislator that's doing that?
You know it.
And and again, so because it's a Republican
Mhm.
that's advocating for this, we'll totally move past the level of sensibility and intelligence that's a part of this legislation, right? But if a person had to defend themselves and they end up killing somebody out of self-defense, yeah, you know, with all of this stuff, man, when you go to court and you go to trial, the state, even if you, go ahead, Soraya, go ahead, say what you're gonna say, because I'm gonna finish.
So Bruce Griffey told the television station that Kyle Rittenhouse had to defend himself, to defend himself not only against a first-degree murder charge over the course of a year, plus politically motivated prosecution and a 2-week jury trial, but also against widespread defamation and false branding by corrupt media outlets simply for exercising his American God-given right to self-defense.
Man, look. Now, I think that people can continue to argue
Yeah.
whether they feel like he was justified in defending himself. And I think that you have to welcome that argument because people see it differently, right? Some people feel like, first of all, he was 17 years old at the time.
Yes.
They claim, you know, they want to say he came across state lines.
And he shouldn't have been there at the
Been there
time.
in the first place, all of that. But then, you know, you have another argument that says, well, he didn't just come across state lines with a weapon. He was already, Illinois and Kenosha is like literally right across the street from each other.
Right.
He worked in Kenosha. He had family in Kenosha. And the place where he was employed, they were experiencing a community that was under siege, that was being destroyed, literally set on fire, businesses were being damaged, and he was a part of a movement to try to protect those businesses.
Right.
So it's so many different sides to the argument, but I think the argument is one that you have to respect on both sides, right? But moving past so much of Kyle Rittenhouse, the legislation, I think, is what's significant. And what's significant about it is that we need to take note on what white people do, right? And pay close attention. When they have circumstances that affect their community, what do? They turn around. If they believe in something, they bring forth legislation.
Yes, they do. They work hard
They
too.
work hard. They bring forth legislation to enact change
Yes,
in
they
their
do.
communities about things that they want to see differently.
Yeah.
What do? We don't do nothing. We get an extended block of Martin Luther King Street, and then we satisfy. But at the same time, the laws and the policies that are affecting our community, we're not repealing laws and legislation and policy that have us bound, and we're not bringing forth proper laws and legislation and policy in our community to create more liberty for the individuals that are bound right now. There are laws and policies on the books right now from the 1900s that still have us in a certain place of enslavement in a lot of ways, because that's how they enslave you through legislation, or that's how they free you from bondage is through legislation.
Absolutely.
So what do these white people do when they want more freedom? They create legislation around the issues that are affected by them. And for that legislator out of Tennessee to look at the situation with Kyle Rittenhouse
the way in Tennessee,
and then bring forth legislation around protecting people who defend themselves or who move in self-defense, and they are affected by a homicide, and they end up committing a homicide. I think it's a good legislation, because if someone comes after you and tries to rob you or breaks into your home and you kill that person, and it's either it's a life or death situation, and you end up killing that person in self-defense, the state is still in many instances going to prosecute you and do everything they can to convict you. They're going to defame you. They're going to demonize you. They're going to take you through everything you could ever imagine when you get into that type of situation. And then next thing you know, you in court and you in trial because you had to defend your life. And now you got to defend your life against the state.
Definitely.
Because if you commit a homicide in the state of Wisconsin in self-defense, not only did you have to defend your life against a person who was trying to kill you, now you got to defend your life against the state of Wisconsin. Because when you get into court, it's going to say your name, and it's going to say versus the state of Wisconsin.
And that's like you against the world. Like you stand on trial all by yourself.
You know what I'm saying? You got the whole state. They use
that's right.
They got the power and the resources of the whole state of Wisconsin.
Yes, right.
And they coming at you to convict you of a crime.
And you know what?
It's just you and your family.
Yes.
And then you got to sit here and you got to find a lawyer. If you don't find a proper lawyer,
a good lawyer,
you're going to jail.
That's right.
You got to deal with that. You got to deal with being mentally stable and strong enough to sustain yourself through being prosecuted.
It's true.
Then you gotta make bail.
That's
you gotta
true.
make bail. I think his bail was like $1 million.
Yes, it was.
Or something like that. So, I'm a person who have been through trial.
Wow.
I've been through more than one trial.
Wow.
I know what it means to be prosecuted by the state. I know what it means to be prosecuted unjustly by the state.
Wow.
I know what it means to be accused of a crime that I did not commit and have to go all the way to trial and fight that trial and fight for my life and then come out at the end of that trial victorious, fortunately in my circumstance. But even after I came out victorious in the trial, what I had to go through, oh man, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. So I think that law is, I think it's something to take into serious consideration because if a person justly defends themselves and ends up having to take a life because they were trying to protect their own life or their family, and the state prosecutes them, the state should compensate them for everything they take them through if that person is found not guilty.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, 36 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock p.m. If you are just tuning in, thank you so much again for rocking and rolling with us. Again, please go to your phones, go to that app store, download the app, and all you got to do is type in HD Radio Online. We can't stress that enough. We want you to be a part of the show, okay? HD Radio Online. Also go to our website, hdmediagrp.com. That's hdmediagrp.com. Want to be a part of the show? Go to hdradio21@gmail.com, hdradio21@gmail.com. You can be a part of the show as well. All right, Dennis, just in really quick. We were just talking about reckless driving, right?
Yeah.
Milwaukee fire officials say 2 on-duty firefighters were just struck while shoveling the snow in front of Milwaukee Fire Station just north of 91st and Appleton Avenue. Just this morning, officials say around 7 a.m., a civilian vehicle left the road, struck the firefighters, and then the fire station itself. Both fire department members were hurt and taken to Frederick Hospital by paramedic units. They were evaluated and released. They are expected to recover at home over the next few days. So,
really,
just shoveling the snow. Oh God!
And again. And that was there on 91st.
91st and Appleton. And the first thing I could just think about is my nephew, but he's at the other fire engine on Teutonia and Custard. So, but just praying for the 2 firefighters that were struck. Just simply shoveling the snow, a civilian driving recklessly.
It's deeper than that.
Hit them, left them there. Just.
It's deeper than that. It's deeper than
just irresponsible.
It's deeper than
just. Come on now.
It's deeper than some firefighters just being hit, right?
God.
But what it goes to, what it speaks to, is the moral deterioration and the lack of respect for life that exists in our community.
Right.
When you can just run over a firefighter. Now, what does a firefighter do? A firefighter, in the middle of the night, gets a phone call. And all of the firefighters jump on a fire truck and they run to burning structures and run into those burning structures and carry people out or do everything they can to save the life of a person when a building is on fire. They actually risk their lives. Firefighters respond to people who are passed out in the street and maybe
they be the first on the scene, actually.
The firefighter be the first.
They are the
there
first on the scene
to preserve life and to save life. That's what a firefighter does. So, I mean, it's one of the most honorable professions that you can have when you look at how they sacrifice their lives for the community, and the jobs that in the job that they choose, where their life is in danger at any moment, and they have to have a selfless attitude of making sure that they put other people's lives before themselves, right? And someone is so dysfunctional that they run over firefighters and keep going.
And hit the firehouse.
Like I said, it's deeper than some firefighters just getting hit. Did they flee the scene or did they catch them?
They come. They fled the scene.
So here we go again. When you look at what's going on in a community, these things are the reflection of how people see the city that they're in. People don't have a high moral, place within them right now. They don't have a high moral content or high moral perspective. The morality is so low that you could just run over firefighters. You could kill 6 people in the house. What was the girl that just got ran over on like 100 or something the other day and they killed her? It was like 100 or something in Oklahoma. They ran the girl over. She like 20 years old. She was with her friend. You can just go on and on and on about how we're being failed in this community, how we're being assaulted in this community, how we're being victimized in this community, how we're just imploding from the inside out. And again, for those of us who are citizens and residents of this city and of this community, and we have still a love and still believe that things can be better, you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to toughen up, tighten up. And what does that mean? We have to decide what that means. But it does not mean allowing somebody to come play around in your face during election time and tell you what they're gonna do for you while you still sitting here suffering at every rate and at the highest rate, and experiencing every kind of destruction in your households. And then somebody come play around in your face and tell you they want to be your mayor or they want to be your next elected official, and they come to you with these fictitious plans, but right now they're failing you in every kind of way, and you're not seeing any result. We got to really understand what it means. How do we toughen up? How do we tighten up? What's the intelligent way for us to go about bringing forth change? Because we can change the situation, but don't let people come playing around in your face with some fake and fraudulent leadership that you vote for and put into a position to govern over you. And then these are the results that you're getting. What them white people doing over there? They creating legislation. They making sure that if it's what happened with when that boy ran over them people over there in Waukesha, what did they do? They all
let me tell you.
Look, they all band together.
They
made sure that it was nationwide.
They raised.
Everybody understood.
They understood that, and they raised thousands of dollars.
I bet you can't ride back through there again.
I bet you won't ride back through there again. Won't do that.
But
I'm trying to tell you.
But we just like, hey, we just walk over the bodies and go buy a bag of chips.
I'm trying to.
That's all we do. We walk over the body, go buy a bag of chips. Dang,
it's
man,
sad.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
You heard about such and such got killed. And all the time we eating a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing. We go to McDonald's. We riding past the crime scene. Whole cars just obliterated in the streets.
With our phones out.
Murders and crime all around. We just pull our phone out and just ride past and go to the drive-through.
And saying, check on your people.
And we go, y'all go check on y'all people.
It's sad.
And look, it's sad because it's sad because no one is condemning the behavior. No one's, I ain't gonna say no one, but we're not hearing enough condemnation, condemning of the behavior in a way where people can take it serious. People don't feel like there's no authority, there's no authoritativeness in our community. We're weak and we're wimped out, and in all of these organizations, and in many of these organizations, and many of these people who are talking about how we bring forth change, they're not doing it from no capacity of strength. They're not doing it from no capacity of know-how or how to really get things done.
Man, Dennis.
You know, and when it comes down to it, they not, you know, a lot. I'm not gonna say everybody, but you got a lot of people who not genuinely concerned.
Yeah.
They only concerned when they can exploit the issue. Perfect example. I'll go back to my brother Tyreek Davis. Here's a man who was shot by the police while he was in his home with his children, and shot for absolutely no reason. A situation he wasn't even a part of. The police ended up trying to shoot somebody else and ended up shooting him. Now, if Tyreek Davis would have been dead behind the police shooting him, everybody in their mama would have came out talking about Black Lives Matter, and they would have did everything they could to crucify the police, because it would have been a photo op. It would have been a reason for them to get on the news, and then they would act like they cared about his life so much, right? But here's a man who was shot by the police for no reason, and he lived. And this man is sitting here suffering, having to pay his bills. This man is sitting here, hasn't had justice yet. He's been in court for over the last 2 years. Not one elected official have called him. Not one group has reached out to him. Not one person has tried to help him when he's been homeless and had to move from home to home with his wife and with his family. Nobody's helped him with his medical records while his body had to heal up from being shot by the police. No one has come to his aid or defense or given him a call or showed any genuine concern for this man surviving through being victimized by the police. But if he would have been dead, it would have been an opportunity for everybody to get on the news and play like they care about Black people, right? And I use him as an example because we got too many examples of fraudulent revolutionaries and fraudulent people who act like they really care about the community. So what happens is that it disrupts the process of those who are genuine, and then people start to not be able to tell the difference between who's sincere and who's not, because you get these people who are frauds that keep misleading people, and when you mislead people, you let them down. And when you mislead people, that means that you build their hopes up, and then when you disappoint them, you let them down. And people get so tired of going up and down, up and down.
And then there'd be a form of distrust.
That they don't trust
That's
anymore.
right. That's right.
So now we got all this mistrust in the community because you got all of this fraudulent leadership.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just a cycle that keep on perpetuating itself over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it leads to all of these situations that we're talking about. You know, all of these become examples of the same root causes of problems in our community. Yeah. The failure that exists within our community. Right? The failure of leadership, the failure of innovation, the failure of the proper motivation and inspiration to get the best out of people. And if you don't have leadership in your community that can pull the best out of people, because your best resource in your community is the social capital, the human capital. What's going on within people that allows for them to be creative and innovative and bring forth solutions to problems, right? So think about how talented we are as a people, but you don't have the proper infrastructure to nurture that talent, to nurture that intellect, to pull the next great idea out of an individual. You do everything you can to suppress that and not encourage that, because in many instances, we're so jealous and envious of each other that when you do see something good about a person, you fight against it instead of work to nurture it. So we got a lot of this just like real issues that we challenge with, that we have to be intelligent about and understanding it in our conversation so that we can address it, but it can be addressed.
Yes, it can. 47 minutes after the hour, 1:00 p.m. All right, Dennis, we're going to take a quick break, okay? Gonna come right back after this.
Let's do it.
All right, keep it here. Be right back. Brother Dennis, where you been? I've been looking for you.
What's going on, Sister Sarai? You know I've been around.
Been around where?
Here, there, everywhere.
Guess what time it is,
What
though?
time is it?
It's time for the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show.
I mean, what's that?
You know exactly what that is. Quit playing. It's our new radio show, sponsored by Higher Dimension Radio, hosted by me, yours truly, Sister Soraya, and you, Brother Dennis Walton.
Well, it's about time. I mean, you know the whole world been watching and ready for our return.
Well, we can let them know that the wait is over, because we're about to give them what they need and what they want, so you better be ready.
Ready for what, Sister Soraya?
Ready for news, information,
stimulating conversation, great gospel music, and a whole lot more every magnificent Monday from noon until 3 p.m.
Well, that time has finally come, so you can start your week off with Soul of the City, the world's #1 gospel radio show hosted by Sister Soraya and me, Brother Dennis Walton, sponsored by HD Radio, where you can imagine more.
Oh, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our website, hdmediagrp.com.
It's HD Radio, where you can imagine more. The whole world been watching and waiting for our return.
Well, the wait is over. We're about to give people what they want and what they need, so you better get ready.
And we are back on the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show, 51 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock p.m. All right, y'all. Again, don't forget to download our radio app. Go to your mobile device right now and go to your Play Store and type in HD Radio Online right now. It is free. You can hear us. You can hear us, the very best of good gospel music, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also follow us on our Facebook page at HD Higher Dimension Radio and also on Instagram as well. There's our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also TikTok, HD Higher Dimension Radio. And you want to advertise with us, you can also email us at hdradio21@gmail.com. That's hdradio21@gmail.com. Feel free to chime in with us. You can call us also right now at 414-435-1040. It's 414-435-1040. Or if you're online right now, you can chat with us as well, and we'll see your messages pop up right now. All right. It is currently 22 degrees right now here in the mill, still in a winter weather advisory for all of southeastern Wisconsin. We are expected to get 2 to 4 inches of snow here in the Milwaukee area. Hello to you and the world. Gospel time now, 52 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock p.m. All right, Dennis, what you got?
What you need? Okay.
You are nerve-wracking.
What you need, sister? How you supposed to know what you need? Anyway, so I got this story over here.
You are so nerve-wracking.
Look, I got this story over here that I want to talk about. Right? And this is via one of our favorite news sources, Milwaukee Neighborhood News, right? And this is about some of the issues that we're challenged with in the inner city and in our communities right now via COVID, you know, because of this COVID thing, because of unemployment, because of, many different factors, right?
Right.
So it says 15,000 Milwaukee residents have received rental aid, but thousands more wait for help, right?
Mhm.
So the two agencies charged with dispersing emergency rental assistance funding to Milwaukee County residents are struggling to keep up the demand. According to the U.S. Department of Treasury data, both Community Advocates, which distributes funds to Milwaukee residents, and the Social Development Commission, which serves Milwaukee County, have dispersed about $45 million apiece, according to numbers provided by organizations. The emergency funding comes from the Wisconsin Rental Assistance Program, the Milwaukee Rental Assistance Program, and from the Federal Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Since 2020, Community Advocates has served over 10,000 households, and the Social Development Commission has helped 5,000. Officials from both organizations said, right? The Social Development Commission, in particular, has struggled with processing applications efficiently and has dealt with staff turnover. And this comes from Executive Director George Hinton. Said his organization now has a new system, a consistent staff, and in-person help to smooth out the process. Both organizations face challenges because of the demand for assistance, okay? Deb Hefner, the Housing Strategy Director at Community Advocates, said there's always at least 4,000 applications in the queue. And the Social Development Commission, or SDC, receives a minimum of 400 new applications a week. Hinton said, people's reasons for needing aid have not changed. Many people aren't working, and just when things were going back to normal, it feels like we're in 2020 all over again. Some people are working and still can't maintain bills, added LaShonda Buck, the rent assistance supervisor at SDC. They say extreme need, not new. Hinton said the Social Development Commission and Community Advocates stay in constant communication to ensure residents get served. In addition, Hefner said collaborative spaces like the Rental Housing Resource Center, which streamlines housing services and service providers, also have helped. This has offered a lot of opportunities to work on system changes, she said. That's what we are working on, and we hope to work more on once we get through the queue. All right. City and county leaders have also launched efforts to help residents avoid evictions in November 2020. And the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors declared that each resident has a right to shelter, but did not fully fund the mandate to curb homelessness. Another program, Milwaukee's Right to Counsel pilot program, also known as Eviction Free MKE, has been working to slow the pace of evictions since September. It provides no cost legal representation for residents facing eviction and foreclosure.
Mhm.
All right. So they said too many people were living and continue to live on the margins. So when unexpected circumstances hit, as they do in life, thousands of Milwaukeeans are unequipped to handle it. All right. And they said it comes from COVID and all the other issues that we're faced with in our community. So I bring this story up because the harsh reality in the city of Milwaukee in January, what's the date today?
24th.
January 24th, which the temperature is what?
22 degrees.
22 degrees, and probably tonight it'll be what?
1 degrees.
1 degrees, right? You have people who are on the verge of being evicted from their homes, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You have people who are on the verge of being evicted from their homes. You also have people who are struggling to raise their families, to get their children through school. People are not working. All of this coming from the two major institutions in our community that are designed to address poverty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that when you have more poverty in a community, when you have more homelessness in a community, you have more negative issues that impact and surround that community. You typically tend to see more violence in communities where there's extreme poverty and where there's extreme homelessness, because people have no hope or they don't understand where their next resource is coming from in order for them to survive. And a lot of times that leads to more negative circumstances. Sister Soraya, would you agree to that?
I agree.
Okay. So now just coming off of that story, there's a story here about rent in the city of Milwaukee, or just throughout our nation, right? Market indicators suggest that rent hikes are coming in 2022. All right. Average rents for a one-bedroom apartment in the booming suburbs of Phoenix, Arizona have more than doubled over the year, according to data from Apartment Guide. Meanwhile, rents in Manhattan have reached fresh records as life returns to the citizens. The problems are confined to the usual suspects. However, rents for single-family homes across the country jumped more than 9% on average in August 2021 from the prior year, according to a report from the analytics firm CoreLogic. Rents are moving fastest in the buzzy enclaves across the South and West. And they say a sudden rent hike of nearly $400 is forced people to make some real serious decisions about how they're going to be living. All right. So I'm bringing this up to say that this is talking about across the nation. Rent is increasing. Rent is increasing in the city of Milwaukee. Rent is increasing all across the West Coast.
Everything is
the
going
East
up.
Coast,
Yes.
in the South, Midwest,
everywhere.
Inflation is taking over. Like I said, you go to the grocery store,
Everything is going up.
you purchase 4 items, it
$50.
costs you $57.
I lie to you not.
Some butter, some milk.
Wait, all jokes, Dennis. Wait, don't laugh. But I lie to you not. I walked past a pack of hot dogs. It was $5.59. I lie to you.
One
not.
hot dog been 99 cents, $1, $2.
A pack of ballpark hot dog was $5.59.
Didn't I tell you this was coming?
I said, Dennis said it.
This was coming, right?
Dennis said it. Yes.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So here we are in the city of Milwaukee, faced with over 50, all of these thousands of people who have already received rental assistance and who are still on the verge of being evicted from their homes, right? And then not only that, but across the nation, rent is rising. Right. So you have a twofold problem here. One, you have landlords who have had people in their homes who have not been paying rent for almost 2 years now. Right. So therefore, those landlords have still had to pay those mortgages on their homes.
That's right.
So you're going to see a higher level of foreclosure in our communities because landlords have been having tenants in their houses and they haven't been able to recuperate those rents over 2 years because of the moratorium that's been on eviction.
And taxes. Yeah, go ahead.
Then they have to pay taxes, then they have to improve upon the houses, they have to pay all the code violations, the upkeep, the water bills,
that's right.
And all of these other things where you've seen no alleviation to address helping homeowners deal with these issues that they're affected by because they've had to be courteous and overextend themselves with allowing people who can't afford to pay rent to still stay in their home.
True.
And they still have to shoulder the burden of paying their mortgage and still paying for the upkeep and still paying their taxes on those homes.
Right.
Now those same people still need rental assistance and even more, and they're on the verge of being evicted out of their home. Once a person gets an eviction on their record, it makes it harder for them to get a home. And then on top of that, in the midst of the poverty that we're facing, the cost of rent is rising.
That's right.
All across the nation. Are you following me, Sister Soraya?
I'm following you. Yep.
Okay. And then I was looking at World News tonight, and they were talking about how used cars. Did you see that?
No.
The price of used cars is going through the roof.
Meaning what?
Meaning that when people in the past were able to depend on used cars being a source of a resource for them
Okay.
because of the cheaper prices, because they're used cars. The price of used cars is going through the roof. So where you could get a used car for cheap in the past, not anymore. They're like doubling the prices of used cars.
Of a used car. Okay.
Right? Because of inflation. So transportation and housing are the number one basic needs.
Necessity. Yes.
For people to get to work, take the kids to school, to survive.
That's right.
Transportation and housing, right? The average used car price is more than $27,500, right? They say if you think food prices are shocking these days, consider this: used vehicle price average more than a third higher now, and this is as of January of this year.
You better off leasing you a new car and then
$27,000.
That's ridiculous.
The average price for a used car hit $27,000 in November.
That's ridiculous.
And it's up now already. And it's now already up to $27,500.
That's ridiculous.
Right?
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
You can probably guess the reasons for the increase. A limited supply of new cars means more attention and focus on used cars, and higher prices come with higher demand. The average used car costs around 35% more today than it did at the beginning of the year. Okay. Now, okay. Follow me, Sarai. I know this is long way around.
I'm following you because that's gonna be
So here you are.
I'm kind of speechless because it's gonna be a lot of full car lots this coming tax season.
And just look, people are paying double and triple than
ever before. Right. Ever before. Because people again need their living situations are more at risk than their transportation. Right. So this is not.
Transportation is key to employment.
It is key to employment.
So if people can't,
but so is homelessness.
Yes. So if people don't have adequate housing,
right.
And if people can't pay their rent and they're being evicted, and if people don't have access to transportation,
right,
then that means that people can't get to work.
That's right.
So that means that businesses suffer. That means the economy continues to suffer. That means that we create more homelessness and more poverty in our communities, which leads to what? More crime.
Oh my God.
Right? Are you following me?
Yeah, there's a huge imbalance there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now look at this jump. Watch how I flip this, right? Afghan refugees.
You are being the barrier of bad news
No.
today.
This is not bad news. This is the news that you need to be aware of so that you understand the circumstances in which we're living in. And then you need to be aware of this so you know how to navigate through this, right?
Yeah.
But look at how it's set up.
I'm listening.
For us, for our community to go further into decline.
Yeah.
Right now. Because they said that SDC and community advocates said that they've already served 15,000 people, and they spent $90 million, and there's thousands of people who are still in line who need assistance.
And then let me just interject, because you also have to remember, once the particular clients have exhausted their funds, like once you've exhausted your funds with community advocates and SDC, where do these clients go from there?
Exactly. They go into the streets. They go into more troublesome situations.
Absolutely.
Because, again, all of this leads to mental health conditions.
That's right.
Leads to high levels of stress.
Right.
High levels of stress leads to sickness.
Right. Depression, all of that. Yeah.
It leads to all of these different things that are compounding in our community.
That's right.
And what is the future of our community if we can forecast these things and we look at these indicators.
That's right.
That are preceding us right now. You have to look at the indicators right now.
Yeah.
And then we're unfortunate because of the climate in which we live in. It's going to be 1 degree tonight. If you're in California or down south, all that, you still got heat.
Well, no, they getting snow down there too.
Yeah, but it's not like it's not 20 below. It's not 10 below. It's not 1 degree.
Man.
So you're still going to have some relief based upon weather in certain regions. But in our community, it's going to be 1 degree tonight. Somebody's getting evicted. Someone
Yeah.
can't go to work. Somebody can't take the kids to school. Then you got all this COVID stuff, where the kids are not being properly educated.
Yeah. So they still going virtual and everything.
People
So,
have
yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids in their household
Mhm.
because you might be taking care of your children, your niece, your nephew.
Right.
You got grandmothers taking care of their grandchildren and all of this type of stuff.
Mhm.
So households are already overburdened.
Overloaded. Yeah.
Okay. So then we go to this story.
Mhm.
Afghan refugees resettled in Milwaukee. They say donations are needed.
Mhm.
All right. Afghan refugees are already being resettled in the Milwaukee area. They are coming quickly and help is needed. Lutheran Social Services will help the housing, finding work and education for 200 Afghan refugees who will soon be living in the Milwaukee area. The organization needs donations now more than ever. Every child that comes gets one of these wonderful kits, said Mary Flynn. They got these bags where they're giving them all these donations.
Mhm.
Some of them are a little bit bigger with socks and hair ties. The assortment of items has come from strangers looking to help. This is a really classic and very useful donation. Everything will be going to the hundreds of Afghan refugees who will soon call the Milwaukee area their home. Now the arrivals are coming, and they're actually coming very quickly. So we really need help from the community.
Okay.
As of Sunday, November 14th, they said in November 14th, the Lutheran Social Services had helped 9 people move to the area, with 25 more set to arrive, coming from Fort McCoy in the coming weeks. About 200 Afghan refugees will resettle in the area by February 22. Within 90 days, get their children enrolled in school, get them connected to a job, get them access to start learning the laws in English, said Hector Colon. An estimated 500 people will be assisted by the organization compared to 100 last year. Help with housing and cash donations are needed more than ever. Give these individuals an opportunity to live right here in Wisconsin with freedom and prosperity and the ability to live a great life right here, said Colon. Lutheran Social Services is opening its arms to those in need and asking the community to do the same. It's not necessarily easier life in the U.S., but hopefully it's better. Cash donations can be made or items can be dropped off. Okay. Why did I break that down like that?
Yeah,
I'm
why?
gonna see if you following me, Sister Sarai.
I was trying. I did get lost along the way.
Did you get caught up though?
No.
So I'm gonna recap.
Mm-hmm.
We have 15,000 people in the
Mhm.
city of Milwaukee who have had to go through rental assistance through community advocates
And possible
and
eviction.
SGC,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And thousands more are possibly going to need assistance and are going to be facing eviction. Thousands more. These are the renters in our community, right? On top of that, because these people who have not paid rent for the last 2 years have been covered through eviction moratorium, homeowners have not been able to pay their mortgages, which means that in many instances, these homeowners are going to, we're going to see a higher rate of foreclosure amongst homeowners in the city of Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
as well as more people who are renters who are homeless because they're going to have evictions on their record, and we don't have enough resources to help them to be able to get to the place where they need to be to sustain their housing. Then on top of that, the price of rent of buying a used car has doubled and tripled.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm. I
so
got that.
transportation is going to be affected to where people can't even go to work, which is going to hurt the economy, which is going to hurt businesses in our community.
Right.
But people are not going to be able to have sufficient employment because they can't get to work. But on top of that, we're integrating a whole nother immigrant population into
Right.
the city of Milwaukee from Afghanistan.
That's why I got lost at.
From Afghanistan.
That's
we was just fighting for the last 20 years.
That's exactly where I got lost. I got lost along the. That's where I
Are
got
you
lost.
following me, Sister Soraya?
No.
I want you to understand that we just was at war with Afghanistan
I
for the
know.
last 20 years.
Yes.
And now we're taking Afghanistan
Mhm.
refugees
We're bringing them in.
and relocating them
We're bringing them in.
Milwaukee,
Right.
in the midst of the people who are here who can't even pay their rent,
Right. Absolutely.
who can't even go to the grocery store and properly buy food, who don't even have transportation to go to work.
Mhm.
But then you're sitting here because most of these people who are affected are Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A lot of these people who are affected by these issues, when we talk about rent, we're not going to be able to afford cars, we're going to be evicted. There's going to be a lot of Black people who are affected. While we just got the extension of a street.
So what is the goal here?
Listen, while we just got the extension of Martin Luther King
I get it.
Street.
Okay.
Okay, just listen.
Mm-hmm.
You got all of these evictions.
Mm-hmm.
You got all of this poverty. You got all of this crime.
Right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But Hector Colombo said,
yes,
we need to give these people
Okay.
the opportunity to live a good life
Okay, Hector.
in the United States and in the city of Milwaukee. And an estimated 500 people will be assisted by the organization compared to the 100 that they helped last year, right? Everything will be going to the hundreds of Afghan refugees who will soon call the Milwaukee area their home. And now the arrivals are coming, and they actually are coming very quickly. So we really need help from the community. Okay, I'm not a person who is against helping other people, right? But when you're sitting here and you're looking at a community that is already impoverished, a community that's already underwater, a Black community in particular that's suffering at the highest rates of all negative statistics, how do you prioritize bringing a whole nother immigrant group into the city of Milwaukee who you was at war with for 20 years?
I don't understand
and now
it either.
providing them the household. They said that they're going to get connected to jobs.
Yeah.
They said that they're going to be connected to the schools. They're going to make sure that they have resources. That their living conditions are going to be situated, and they're asking for more resources to help empower these people who are being resettled in the city of Milwaukee. So what that tells me is that who are we prioritizing when we talk about improving the quality of life for residents in the city of Milwaukee, when you have Black people who are the most burdened right now in the city of Milwaukee, based upon the information that's coming from SDC and community advocates who are poverty-focused organizations. But we're sitting here bringing in Afghanistan refugees, and we're going to make sure that they're connected to proper living, to proper food, to proper employment, to proper education, to proper health resources. How do we not have enough money to feed our own people, but then we bring in a whole nother migrant population and we make sure that they're sustained?
Priorities all jacked up. That's all I have to say.
That's all I got to say. I'm going to leave it at that.
Priorities all jacked up. Can we just
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
but look, just think about this though, right? Someone is so focused on making sure that these people live a better life, that they're making sure they connect them and their families and their children to every resource that they need to sustain themselves and to live a better life. But you're sitting here with thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are suffering, who have been residents of this community for their entire lives.
Okay, I just have one question. Who's responsible for this?
Exactly. Who's responsible for making sure that the Afghan refugees live a better quality of life in the city of Milwaukee, while the decline or the deterioration of our quality of life amongst the residents who have been there their whole life.
Right. Absolutely.
Is constantly deteriorating and getting, and the circumstances are getting worse and worse. How do we not see that they're playing this game, and this poverty that's being inflicted upon us seems to be more strategic than anything? Because if you can bring a whole nother migrant population into our community and make sure that they're properly resourced, and they can't even speak English, and they was the enemy for 20 years, and they come in with their own
trying to take us out.
They come with their own culture. They're not buying into the American way. They're buying into the American resources. So when they extract those resources, who loses? So, because when resources go one place, that means that they're not going into another place. Especially when you look at the deficit that we face based upon the report from community advocates and SDC.
We're about to be in a deficit for real now.
So, I just would like people to understand that.
Are we not?
What I'm saying is, I don't just look like this. I know some things.
Of course,
You know, I know some things.
I understand,
And I
but
think that we need to understand. It's like Dr. Claude Anderson said a while ago. He said that, and again, I'm not against helping people, but when you're helping from a deficit and not helping from an overflow. Remember, I just said that when you asked me about running for election. I said I got to get to a place where I'm operating from an overflow, not from a deficit, so that I can be better resourced and better prepared to sustain myself.
Definitely.
If we have a community that's continuously operating from a deficit and not from an overflow, and the distribution of resources are continuing to go into all these different directions, how do we truly repair the issues that we're faced with if we don't take the time to make sure that the current problems and the current need of the current people are addressed before we start bringing other people into a community that's already distressed and then redirecting and redistributing the resources to those people?
Wow, that's just amazing
that I'm hearing anybody talk about.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that. That's all new to me. I didn't know.
And everything that I just broke down is not my opinion.
Yeah,
These are all statistics and data that I'm reading. That's really what our nation is facing. And what the city of Milwaukee is facing.
That's facts. That's facts. Yeah.
So what's happening is that Black people in particular are being forced to become a permanent underclass, right? And I remember reading and listening to Dr. Claude Anderson talk about this. He talked about the more that you see different immigrant groups migrating into the United States and extracting the resources from the United States.
And that's what's happening.
And the fact that the people who built this country are still living in the most extreme levels of poverty and have not become a self-sustained group, while all the other groups that have come in and utilized the structure and the design of what Black people have created as far as fighting for liberation and being the architect of civil rights. Every other group that come in and co-ops that design to empower themselves and the individuals who built this country, in which these rights were specifically designed for because of the abuses that they had suffered, are still the people who are being pushed down and who are now becoming a permanent underclass because every other group and every other ethnicity is coming in and utilizing the civil rights design and extracting the resources to push themselves forward. But the people who have suffered the most in this country are still at a deficit.
That's exactly what's happening. Wow.
I'm just saying.
He spoke it.
I'm just saying. I know a little something, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. 21 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock p.m. All right, Dennis. So in other news, not sure if you heard about that shooting in New York City.
Yeah.
Did your sister tell you about that?
No, I saw.
I saw it
on YouTube.
Preparations are underway to lay to rest a 22-year-old NYPD police officer that was killed in Harlem in a Harlem shooting on Friday night. Another officer wounded in the shooting is still fighting for his life.
It was 3 officers shot up.
Funeral services for New York City police officer Jason Riviera were being finalized as the other one in blue, as the other officer in blue mourned the loss of the 22-year-old who joined the force to make a difference in what he described as a chaotic city. A solemn scene unfolded Sunday with a column of ununiformed police officers as well as a line of firefighters flanking the streets as a hearse carrying the fallen officer left the medical examiner's office. And burial rites were scheduled for Friday, while services were to be held Thursday at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And five cops have now been shot in New York City since January 1 of this year.
Yeah, it's getting real bad for the police.
Yeah, the wounded officer was identified as 27-year-old Wilbert Mora. He has been an NYPD officer for 4 years, and police say that Mora suffered a serious head wound in the shooting.
Yeah, one thing that we can look at is that whereas you see the trend of violence, increasing in the city of Milwaukee. it's not just exclusive to the city of Milwaukee.
No.
The trend of violence is happening all across the nation.
It was 2 officers, Dennis.
It was 2. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 officers. Yeah.
And then there was a 3rd officer that was killed in Houston, I think.
Okay.
That they were just talking about last night as well.
Okay.
But again, the assault on police officers is increasing at an all-time high.
Yes,
the assault on firefighters, that's increasing at a,
Yeah.
you know, that you see that happening. But again, the deterioration of the moral fabric of our communities is again, we're deteriorating at such a rapid pace.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I have to take this back to, again, you're going to have people who are going to be coming around and knocking on your door. And they're going to make some claims and some promises about them being able to help move our community forward. And some of those people have already been in office for a very long time. And if they've been in office as long as they have, and they haven't, and we've gotten to this point, then just take into consideration, why would you continue to allow those same people to represent you if you're not happy with the circumstances that you're currently living in? Why would we continue to repeat the cycle of putting the same people in place over and over again, and look at the results that we're getting? So if you continue at this pace and you put the same people in place through new elections or through new processes, then you're looking at a community that it's over with for us over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, it's almost like we're on the verge of a real extinction.
Okay.
This is it's a genocide that's happening in our community. There's a purge, there's a cleansing. Now, people who are of wealth are not suffering at the rate that people who are in poverty are, or people who are in poverty, who live in impoverished communities. Every day we have to live with the possibility of one of our loved ones being killed or maimed or hurt or died from COVID, or some type of public health crisis affecting us in ways that it does not affect others, right? And all I want to say is that we have people who are going to be coming into your households and knocking on your doors, and they're going to smile in your face, and they're going to make sure that they got on their best Sunday's best outfits, and they're talking their best language, and they're going to tell you that they have a plan to improve the conditions of your community. And some of these people are the same people who have been telling you this for the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 18 years, 20 years.
Well, you know what, Dennis? I'm a bit saddened because I have not seen any of my elected officials since the last voting day.
And I'm going,
I mean, honestly, like where you been?
I'm not pointing.
Like,
I'm not calling out no names.
I'm not either, but it's
I'm
just
not pointing
it's
fingers
just
at nobody.
It's just a sad issue. It's just a sad case because
I'm not pointing the finger at anybody.
Yeah, but
all I'm saying is that
I'm just being honest.
Look at how harsh the conditions are that we're suffering from in our community, and look at the lack of urgency to resolve these problems. And then look at the administrations across the country where you see communities in the worst positions, in the worst conditions that they've been in.
Right.
Most of them are Democratic communities, Democratic cities, failed Democratic leadership. And don't get me wrong, I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm just a person who is an observationist of what has failed us and where we've been successful at. You've seen failure after failure after failure, but based upon policy in our communities. And a lot of times in our communities, we know, and I know from being behind the scenes and being in politics, that it's not always an issue of Republican versus Democrat. Because you look at the elected officials that exist in your community, and we know what they're doing and we know what they're not doing. We know that they don't have real plans, they don't have real agendas, they're not working together properly, they're not utilizing the resources. When the resources come down, they're mishandled. They're not placed in the proper organizations. They're given to friends. They're given to people who have manipulated the system, and they're not going into the areas strategically to make sure that the areas can benefit and have a greater impact based upon the resources that are available. So it's not that there's not a lack of resources. There's a lack of proper planning. There's a lack of management. and there's too much mismanagement. And then you have fraudulent leadership who pretends to work in coalition with one another, but when it's all boils down to it, they're only about themselves. And you cannot have a selfless person, or you can't have a selfish person in office when your job is to serve people. You can't have a selfish person in office when your role is to be creative and innovative about addressing the issues that we're forced to go through in the circumstances in our community. So the solution is that people have to become more intelligent and responsive to the inefficiencies that are happening in our communities all across the nation. And don't let these people continue to tell you that it's a Democrat and Republican thing. It's an inefficiency that exists within individuals who are not properly prepared or qualified to be of service.
Okay.
I'm on a roll today, ain't I, Soraya?
You on the roll with a silent slow. That do sound good, though, don't it?
Yeah, they do. I am kind of hungry. I'm on a roll today, Soraya. I got information. I'm fired up and ready to go.
I guess.
Yeah. But also,
all right.
There's a story here that I want to talk about again. Where, New York is going through some real serious stuff as well over there. Officers are being shot, crowds running rapid.
Oh my God.
And then right after the police was shot, an 11-year-old was shot. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
An 11-year-old girl has been shot in the face.
In New York?
In the Bronx.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. I thought 11-month-old.
That's what I said.
I thought you said 11-year-old.
I mean, maybe I did misspeak, but it's 11-month.
11-month-old. Yeah, I heard about that.
Was shot in the face.
That was in a crossfire.
So the baby's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Stable condition.
My God.
So again, I don't want to just beat up on our community. You know what I'm saying? But you can look at the failed policies all across the nation, in particular in communities that have been controlled democratically.
Right.
And look at the suffering of the people. And when you look at those who are in charge, you see them constantly making excuses about why we're in the position that we're in.
Okay.
And there's no level of creativity to say, well, this is how we're going to come out. From Chicago, with Lori Lightfoot over there.
Man.
You know, this woman is crazy.
Wait.
How did Lori Lightfoot, right?
Yeah.
We always talk about the first black right?
The mayor, yeah.
And she over there married to a whole white woman.
Dennis. Sorry, we don't have a disclaimer.
No, I'm just saying.
I know.
She over there married to a whole white woman.
We know that, Dennis.
No, a lot of people don't know that, Soraya. You understand me?
Okay.
And again, look at what's going on when we sit here and then you try to hold people to these false standards, but we're being very hypocritical with the way that we're looking at how leadership is failing us in these communities.
But
Chicago right next door to us.
Do you know how many murders they had last year?
Man, look, under her watch.
Man.
But then we push, and the reason why I stated that she's married to a white woman, is because a lot of times you try to push these pro-black narratives, and they don't exist. We try to push this, I'm genuinely concerned for everything that's happening with black people, and you got people who playing the black card, but when you peel back the layers of what's going on in their lives, that's not really the root of what's happening in their lives, and then you see that through their policies. It's just amazing to me that you look at the level of hypocrisy that exists throughout our nation and throughout our community.
Okay.
When we talk about the failed leadership and then how we bicker amongst each other and we point the fingers, and you get to a place where being a victim becomes your only means of advocacy. Understand what I just said. We've gotten to a place where being victimized is the only place of advocacy that we're coming from. And that's a sad place because nobody wants to constantly see a victim. Nobody wants to constantly see a person complaining and desolate and not doing for themselves and not using their own abilities to overcome their circumstances. But we keep being told over and over again by these administrations that we can't do it, or that somebody's holding us back, or that someone's stopping us. But no one's inspiring or motivating people to understand the power and the ability that they have within themselves.
Yeah, I get it.
And then you have these faces of black leadership that are hypocritical, and they're false. And again, you can be with whoever you want to be with. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought it was amazing when I saw, when I saw Lori Lightfoot, and then she was married to this Jewish white lady, and they was kissing, and they was representing Hanukkah.
Ooh.
No, I'm sorry. What is that?
You talking about
Got me so tied up in the tub. What is the
you talking about after Christmas?
Kwanzaa. I'm sorry. Hanukkah is Jewish stuff. They was celebrating Kwanzaa. I was like, wow, man.
In other news,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, call him.
Like I said, be what you want to be who you want to be. But
34.
Recognize
Yeah.
the inefficiencies that are going on.
Okay, and just yeah. You just don't be hypocritical. You just don't be hypocritical.
I mean, everybody got a little bit of hypocrite.
And be the light.
Look, everybody got a little bit of.
You be the change, and you be the light.
Listen, everyone is challenged, Sister right? Just listen to me for a little bit more. You got me started.
Oh God.
Everyone is challenged.
Don't have to be.
No, we do. Everyone is challenged. Our circumstances are dire. So you can't just. I'm not just trying to talk bad and crucify everybody.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that be honest about where your shortcomings are.
Okay.
Be honest about what we can do and what we can't do. Quit lying to people.
That's right. I agree.
That's all I'm saying. Quit getting in people's face and fronting when it's a matter of life and death.
Absolutely. Yeah. But
be honest about what you can do and what you cannot do. But quit getting in people's face, lying to them.
But don't be hypocritical at the same time.
Man, look, especially if you're in a position. Everyday citizens and everyday residents don't bear the same burden as those who have been selected and elected to go into positions of service for our community.
Yes.
Everyday residents, everyday citizens, they can be at a deficit. They can be, going through the things that they're going through. But when you commit to serving people, you held to a higher standard.
Absolutely.
When you take a swear and you go, when you swear on to an oath to service of people, you held to a higher standard.
That's right. I agree.
You all got to be personally responsible, but you do got to be held to a higher standard when you've been elected and put into a position of leadership.
Like the Bible says, to whom is given, much is required. Absolutely. And to one, I really agree. They must recognize them as shortcoming before they can be honest about them. I totally agree with that.
How often do you hear any elected official come out and say, we failed? We was wrong for what we did. That laws that we passed, those situations that we worked on, none of it has worked over these last, I don't know how many years, because we can point to the conditions of our community and how poor the conditions are, how people are continuing to suffer. And we can say, we have failed in all of these departments and we're sorry for that. And now that we've looked at where we failed at, we've learned from our failures, and now we're going to grow and we're going to become stronger in what we need to do because we're honest about where we went wrong.
Well, obviously not, because we have reckless driving, we have violence to the roof. I mean, come on. I mean, so
yeah, but no one's taking ownership of
no.
You can't grow as a community if
you don't
take ownership of where you failed.
I agree. Couldn't agree with you more.
So I'm done. Go ahead, Sly.
You sure?
You got me started.
I didn't do anything.
This is the soul of the city. You can take us everywhere you go. HD Radio Online, one word. Yeah, we fired up today. We ready to go. And you too could be a guest on Soul of the City. The heart and soul.
Soul of the City. My cousin was gonna come up with a theme song, but I guess she just dropped the ball on me. Tiffany.
What's up with our commercial?
What you mean?
The one with our soul train.
Oh, well, we gotta put it on the radio station.
We gotta play it on.
We do, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to.
Commercial.
Okay, we have to. I'll figure that out, and we're gonna play it on the next show. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't talk enough, Soraya.
Really?
Yeah.
You're just not figuring that out. Okay. All right. So we know what time of the year it is now. We know that it is tax time, right? So the IRS is going to start requiring users of its online tax payment system to provide a selfie to a third-party company in order to access their accounts. So beginning in summer of 2022, users who need to log on to the IRS website to access the Child Tax Credit Update portal, to check online accounts, get their tax transcript, receive an identity protection PIN, or view an online payment agreement will need to create an account with identity verification company ID.me. Existing online accounts, which currently only require a simple email and password to access, will no longer work beginning this summer, the IRS said. Okay. At that point, users are required to create an online with ID.me. Did you get that, Dennis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's very important. I guess they changing all of this now. So the IRS, you have to I guess they said you have to start requiring, they're gonna require a facial recognition scan to access your tax returns now. So they cracking down on your identity to protect your identity. So I want you to keep that in mind.
That's cool.
All right. So they
because
cracking down on hackers and scammers and
well, there's going to be a lot of identity theft.
yes, well,
And
it's been a lot of identity theft.
There's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot more.
Whole lot more.
You know, especially with how everyone has been forced to do more online.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the COVID situation.
Yeah.
It's not there's more online transacting today.
Yes, it is.
Than there's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So just with that being a fact,
Mm-hmm.
then there's going to be more cyber fraud.
Yes, it is.
Cyber fraud.
Mm-hmm.
So you better believe it's somebody lurking in the digital cyber world.
That's right.
Ready to steal
Mm-hmm.
your tax refund.
Yeah.
And they're coming for it.
They're coming
so
for
yeah, so
it.
I would say definitely be very, very, very careful
Mm-hmm.
with how you administer your information online,
Right.
or allow your information to be processed online,
Right.
because it's just a precaution that you need to have.
Definitely.
I just signed up for cybersecurity.
Yes.
Just on my own little stuff, and I ain't nobody who like super wealthy or nothing.
Yeah.
But people will take your identity, and next thing you know, you'll be somewhere doing something,
Definitely.
and you ain't had nothing to do with it.
Definitely. And I am on IdentityIQ.com.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I only pay $7 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and they monitor my information as well. So
Yeah.
I will get an alert if someone is trying to hack into my identity. They will alert me. So that's very important.
Yeah,
So
I had just because as you know, I just re-signed up for my credit services,
Mhm.
Which we'll be talking more about in the near future.
yes.
For those who need credit repair
Mhm.
services.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to talk about that really quick.
No, I'll say.
You gonna wait?
Make sure I can go into
Okay.
details. Still making sure that I'm processing the information properly.
Perfect.
But identity, the identity
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it, protection is a part of that.
That's
plan.
one of the
And
features.
it's a package of services that are just
Okay.
wonderful for you
Yes.
if you want to stay protected in the cyber world.
Mhm.
You want to make sure that your financial self is being improved. There's a whole package of information, but the cybersecurity was a part of that.
Okay.
And I was just happy I'm still kind of going through all of the services that I've been afforded.
Definitely.
But I feel that extra. I feel that relief
Mhm.
from knowing that I have that cybersecurity.
I'm telling you, having that extra layer of protection is like a relief, because when I was going through that fraud with PayPal, someone went in my PayPal account and took, well, they call themselves taking over $1,000 out of my PayPal account. I didn't have it in there, but they went in there and tried to take it out, and I had to fight with PayPal. They tried to take out like 4 or 5 transactions at one time.
Really?
Yeah, and I had to get like an extra layer of protection on my PayPal account.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, here's another story. One thing the pandemic brought about was an increase in the amount of stores and restaurants using the QR codes as a way to send and receive information to customers from menus to payments. Okay. And like most things where money is involved, bad guys have found a way, Dennis, to use QR codes, to steal finances and financial info. Experts are now warning consumers about scams that have found a way to use QR codes. That are going on with your QR codes. Do you see this right here? I want you to look at this. You see this right here, the QR codes. Yeah, the QR codes have actually helped prevent certain scams. Since by scanning the code, a user is sent directly to a website, so there's no chance they mistype the link and wind up on a page that tries to fish information from them. However, the way the con artists have gotten around this is by replacing the legitimate QR codes with their own using stickers or other trickery.
I mean, the thing is
how do you have this much time on your hands to do this foolishness? Authorities in San Antonio recently stumbled upon one scam that saw fraudsters replacing the QR codes on public parking meters with ones that would send them money or personal financial data. When unsuspecting drivers use the QR code thinking they are paying for parking, they are actually falling victim to the scam. Since then, other cities have noticed similar scams, and the BBB even issued a scam alert to warn people about the dangers of scanning QR codes. They've also given out tips on how to avoid getting scammed. Among their suggestions, even if you are sent a QR code by a friend or see one on social media, confirm it's legit before scanning it, and never scan one sent by a stranger. So please be mindful of that, people. Please be mindful. Do not scan a QR code. I'm never doing that. I don't care who it's from.
Yeah.
I don't care who it's from.
I'll be real skeptical of doing that stuff anyway.
No.
I mean, I'm legitimately.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately afraid.
Even in a restaurant, CBFF, even in a restaurant, look at the menu. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Just order my food. I'm just going to tell you what I want. I'm not scanning it.
Yeah, I'm legitimately afraid when it comes to those type of things, because as much as we are still making our adjustment into the digital world, I mean, there's a deficit that exists within me, where I'm not as efficient as I should be. A lot of this technology stuff, I'm still learning it, and it's still very foreign to me. So when I have to scan a QR code, or download something or put my information online, I just have this fear, like, because you just don't, the fear of the unknown.
That's right. Because now when you go into restaurants, they tell you have to download the menus on your phone now.
And then I feel like that is just such a setup for people who are lurking in the cyber world to steal your information. And then you look up and your account's being. I just went through that, with Apple Pay and DoorDash, where someone had been stealing money on my account and they were door dashing.
Okay.
So I'm looking up on my account every month, and dollars are coming out my account from DoorDash. I've never used DoorDash before in my life.
That was me. I'm sorry.
I should have known.
That was me, Dennis.
You and all that. You and Wendy's. I know when it said Wendy's and it said
I love Wendy's.
When it said loaded baked potato, I should have knew.
I love Wendy's.
With extra sour cream.
I love my Wendy's baked potato and my salad.
I should have known. You been giving me all this time.
I can't stand you. No, but I get it. And that's why it's very important to be careful. When you go into these restaurants, I don't want no menu. No, I'm not scanning my phone to no menu. Give me a menu. No, absolutely not. Well, I just won't eat here. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, but again, the problem is
No.
that that's why you got to be understood about
Yeah.
cybersecurity
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and making an investment into cybersecurity.
It's very important.
It's very important
Mhm.
because there's literally no way around having to operate in the digital world and in the cyber world, because this is where the world, everything is going to, this is what COVID is all about.
Yeah.
COVID is all about pushing you into doing everything online and making you more digitally comfortable with how you transact.
That's right.
And operate.
Yeah.
Your money's gonna be all digital really soon.
Everything gonna be on a credit card.
Everything's gonna be on a card.
Yeah.
Everybody, people gonna be having chips in their arms and in their brain and all this kind of stuff. They're doing everything they can to merge human beings and technology to become one. So that sounds crazy. But when they start putting the chips in the animals.
Yes.
Now they're putting the chips in people. They've been doing it.
Wow.
Now you'll be able to have a chip implanted in your body, and it'll have all of your information, all of your codes.
Tawana, don't laugh at Dennis. Don't do that.
All of this stuff is just
nice.
Man, people are just so lost, man.
Yeah.
People are lost. They don't understand what's happening in the world today. And they don't understand that this is a social experiment and a design where they're moving our population into a new world order and a new way of operating. It's not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to just pull out a wad of money out your pocket. You're not going to be able, the things you could do 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago.
No more back to normal.
You're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But that's just like at one time, a loaf of bread was a nickel.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Think about it. That's like at one time people would go to work, and when they go to work, their wages for the week would be $2.50. That's unheard of today.
Okay.
My point is that you cannot prevent the world from moving forward.
Okay.
You just have to understand the plan and know how to operate within it. And unfortunately, too many people are not abreast to how rapidly and how fast the world is changing and how socially we're being pushed into a new level of existence.
Okay.
So
50 minutes after the hour of 2:00 p.m. All right, Vice President Kamala Harris will be here today. She'll be joined by Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Michael Reagan and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff. And she'll be here today. Has she arrived, Dennis?
I don't know.
Okay, she'll be touring the Clean Energy Laboratories on the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee campus today, and she'll be making her first visit today.
So guess what she's coming for?
What's she coming for, Dennis?
All right. So the Biden administration announced a plan last month to replace all lead pipes over the next decade. Right. However, Congress approved $15 billion for lead service line replacement in the infrastructure bill, about a third less than what the White House and water experts say it will cost to replace them nationally. All right. So of that, $48 million is being sent to Wisconsin as part of $3 billion coming to the state this year. The EPA previously announced in Milwaukee alone, Wisconsin's largest city, the cost to replace lead pipes on all public and private property is estimated to be $800 million.
Wow.
So okay, let me see how fast you are, Soraya.
No, don't do my math. I didn't pass math. I told you that.
You said you was good.
I said I love math. I said I like math. No, don't do me. No, this video gonna go viral. Don't do me now.
Okay.
No.
Okay, you remember back in the day?
No.
Listen.
What?
Remember back in the day when you used to have word problems?
Yes.
For your math problems. I want you to figure out this word problem.
No, don't.
I want you to listen again. I want to see how fast you are. Of that, okay, look. This is where word problems were important. Congress approved
Okay.
$15 billion for lead service line replacement in the infrastructure bill.
Okay.
Key words. Remember the word problems? About a third less than what the White House and water experts say it will cost to replace them nationally. All right. Of that 15 billion,
You ain't gotta talk slow like
which
this.
is a third less, 48 million
Oh God.
is being sent to Wisconsin
Uh-huh.
as part of 3 billion coming to the state this year.
My CBFF, she's an accountant, so she's on here. She'll help me out.
The EPA previously announced in Milwaukee alone,
mhm.
Wisconsin's largest city, the cost to replace lead pipes on all public and private property
Dennis don't do my
is
CBFF.
estimated to be 800 million.
You asked me for the answer?
The answer, okay, so where's the deficit at in that question?
Give me the numbers again.
48 million, which is part of 3 billion, and it costs 800 million just in Milwaukee alone.
Wait a minute. 48.
But for
Wait.
I'm gonna help you out.
CBFF, you got the numbers.
Yeah. So they sent in 48 million. They sent in 48 million, right? Look, we gotta
Wait, hold on,
that.
hold on.
That's too much, dude.
No, wait. Hold on.
It's right, that's serious.
Wait, what? Hold on. Remember, I said math is very. Hold on, math is very challenging.
Yeah, look,
This is
yeah.
why I like math because it's very challenging. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 3,
It's right.
6.
All right, come
Well,
on, man.
6, 3, 6.
Soraya,
I can't get
come
that
on.
many
Don't
zeros
worry
on my
about it.
on my
Don't worry
calculator.
about it. Don't worry about it. I'm here to help you out.
They real short.
No, all I'm saying is look.
Oh, Tawana said they real short. That's the answer. They real short. 8.56 billion short.
They real short.
There you go. That's my CBFF. Thank you. 8.56 billion short.
That's what that see why the word problems was important?
my cousin Keisha said, this problem is too long. Thank you, Keisha. Yes, it is.
But again, so they got 48 million that's being, you gotta follow the money. They got $48 million that's coming to Wisconsin, right? As part of a $3 billion, as part of $3 billion that's coming to the states this year. So you got $3 billion that's gonna be dispersed over the states. The United States.
Okay.
This year,
Mhm.
48 million is coming to Milwaukee, but we need 800 million. All right. Look, I'm gonna tell you how significant this is.
Yes, very
It's
significant.
already a third short. They got
Mhm.
15 billion. That's only a third of what they really asked,
Mhm.
what they really need. So if you need 800 million to address all of the lead issues in the city of Milwaukee, and then you're only getting 48 million to address lead throughout the state. Like Tawana said, we're a whole lot short.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
We're a whole
8.56
billion
short.
short.
That's a major deficit.
Now, this money is going to Big Step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big Step, WRTP or whatever.
Right,
Big
right,
Step
right.
has been in our community for a long time as a member of the trades entity or organizations in our community, right?
Okay.
So remember I talked about the deficit of organizations and leadership in our community.
Right.
One of the reasons why our community is in a position and the condition that it's in right now is because organizations like Big Step have failed to produce young people to be properly trained into the trades over the last 30 years or so. Okay. And they've received millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to make sure that training was appropriate to go into infrastructure, electrical, carpentry, plumbing,
Okay,
all of the
construction.
trades,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So this organization has failed at properly producing enough tradesmen to go into the industry, which we see a shortage of individuals who are properly prepared to address that.
Right.
And now here we go. As soon as some money comes in, she's going to Big Step, who's going to be receiving the bulk of these funds to address the infrastructure problem on lead with $48 million when $800 million is needed, right? But the money is going to an organization that hasn't properly fulfilled its mission over the last 30 years, okay? And then we have to look at the fact that we're just now getting some level of resource that's coming in to address lead. And if you look at how lead has affected our community over the last 50 years or so, what happens when you have a community that is poisoned by lead? And do the research on that. So who's responsible for allowing for us to drink poisoned water and lead to be into our systems and our communities over all this time? And now we're finally getting some resources, which is undervalued, which is not enough for us to address a lead issue where our community has been poisoned all this time.
So that's a whole nother issue.
Lead creates premature babies.
Right.
It creates women to babies to die early, the premature death and all of that of children,
and also
cognitive, problems within the minds of young people as they're developing. In areas where you're over affected by lead or poisoned by lead, you have more violence because there's a tendency for higher violence when you have a lead poison that's existed within people over a period of time. You can look at all of the negative things that have happened when it comes to education in our schools, and a lot of it you can attribute it to lead poisoning, poor health issues that people are challenged with. How much of that is attributed to the fact that we've been poisoned by lead for all of this time and under-resourced when it comes to removing lead from our communities? And now here we are with $48 million that's being dispersed, but we need $800 million to still address lead.
That's a big step. That's a major. That's a whole.
It's going to an organization who has been failed at producing tradesmen to go into our community to help fill the voids for the trades. Oh yeah, they ain't gonna like me after all of this. That boy saying too much.
And why is she here again?
She here to distribute dollars to a failed organization that hasn't properly produced tradesmen into our community.
Okay,
to give money?
Can she run downtown to James Lavelle Street to Community Advocates and donate some more money to Community Advocates?
And it's not even necessarily about the money. It's about the money continues to go into the wrong entity.
But I'm talking about going into the right entity, to Community Advocates, to donate more money.
So it could go to the Afghan refugees.
No, I'm not talking about them.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about my people. I'm talking about.
So they're gonna make sure that the Afghan refugees drink clean water. They have access to employment. They learn English. They got education. They got proper housing. And that you donate to them to make sure that they can live a sustainable life in Milwaukee while we poisoned by lead.
No.
Yeah.
Help us, Lord.
Yeah, these are facts. These are not my opinions.
Not good facts, but. All right. 1 minute after the hour, 3:00 p.m. We have outstayed our welcome, Dennis.
What time is it?
1 minute after the hour, 3 p.m.
Dang, I was on a roll today.
We gotta go. On the road with a side of slaw and fish.
I was on a roll today, sister.
We gotta go, but before we go, we have to send our deepest condolences to Regina King.
Oh yeah.
She lost her son to suicide. Did you hear about that, Dennis?
I did hear about that.
Her son's, I think her son's name was Ian Alexander Jr. He died right after he had just turned 26 years old. So we send our deepest level of condolence to Regina King and her and the loss of her son.
Yeah, to that point, I said
Ian Alexander.
I definitely feel for her and send condolences to her.
Yeah,
and I also feel for the 6 people around the corner.
Yeah,
from my house who lost their life.
Yes,
last night.
Yesterday.
Yes.
And
all the other dead people in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Who get ran over by cars.
I know.
And firemen who keep getting hit.
I know.
15-year-olds who keep getting shot. and all the people who keep dying from COVID. I send my condolences to all of them as well.
And with that, you know what?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I was trying to say that on a national note
No, that's cool.
about
You did
Regina
You did a
King,
great job.
but you just went all the way around the
I
corner.
just brought it back home.
Yeah, you did.
That's all. God work with me.
Yes, please,
Make
God.
me a better man.
Please make him a better man. Help him, Lord.
Strengthen me, Lord.
In the name of
This is the
Jesus.
soul of the city.
Yes.
We are. This show is coming to
And-
an end. If you want to carry us everywhere you go, download the app. HD
Please.
Radio online, one word. If you want to be a guest, you can be a guest on the Soul of the City. But again, we welcome you. We thank you. We love you. And we look forward to seeing you again on next week. That's all. That's it. That's all. Dang, I was ready to go for another 3 hours.
Tawana said, "Thank you, Tawana. Thank you." Then it said,
Home country
"Homecoming."
comes first. Take care of your own backyard. Man, look, I ain't got nothing against the Afghans.
The name stays home.
Jesus, my people dying right around the corner. But anyway, that's enough. I'll keep you talking.
All right, so join us on next week if God say the same. All right, but you can view us. You can view this show again and again and again. Please tell your family and your friends. Please share this video. If you are on Facebook, like and share. If you're on YouTube, you can view this video as much as you want to, over and over and over and over again. All right, we love you guys. All right. In the meantime, you can keep it locked to Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show, and also don't forget to download that app on your mobile device, HD Radio Online.